All right. Wow. Welcome to another episode of a long-awaited Leave It on the Line. And I'm very excited about my guest tonight because I have to make a quick confession. It is not the first time you've been here. Mr. Scott Rosales is coming, a chef of the Cellar in Fullerton.
Correct.
And the last time we did this, just all kidding aside, we shot an amazing podcast. It was one of the best ever. And then we went back to edit the video and splice it up. All of the video got corrupted. So here we go again. Cheers. One more Leave It on the Line. And this is his beer of choice tonight, is the world-famous Pabst
PBR.
The PBR. So for those of you turning in for the first time, welcome to Leave It on the Line. And I am Chef Jo-Jo of E.C.O, bringing you one of the best streak years for chefs that I can possibly think of, because it's mine, so I guess I'm a little biased. But Extreme Culinary Outfitters is our sponsor and our creator, and what we like to do here is just take a little bit of a time to sit down, have a shift drink, and really get to know all the chefs in the area or that we get a chance to talk to, find out their struggles, find out how they started, and what got them into this crazy business. And tonight, I don't think... without any further ado, we'll start chatting about Mr. Scott Rosales. So
round two.
Round two.
Cheers.
We got our shift drink Pilsner glasses made by E.C.O. This is good stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
That's nice and tasty.
It's PBR. Can't go wrong.
No, you really can't. And, you know, when we did the first one, and I'll try not to reference it like 1,000 times, but you're like, hey, no, I just like some simple beer. If you could get PBR, we'll sit down and we'll drink. I was like, you know what? I've got some in the cooler. Or in the fridge.
I think
no
my
worries.
text was like, I used to be a beer guy, and I'm like, you know what? I just want something cheap, simple. Don't judge me. And then he said, nope, I got some in the fridge. We're good to go.
Yeah, good to go. I mean, I've had, I recently had a bunch of different craft beers in the fridge, and I was probably drinking way too many of them than I should. And I was like, man, I just want something chill. You know what I mean? It's like super easy. It's super cold and super cheap, especially if you're knocking down a few, you know?
Yep.
You drink a 6-pack of Ballast Point, you're in it for a minute,
Yeah,
right?
you're like,
you've got $25 in on it.
Yeah, you got two, and then you're like, oh, dang it, I want another one, but I just spent $25 on two.
I need to make this last.
Yeah, I'm sipping on it for an hour.
Well, we don't have to sip tonight.
No.
We do not have to sip tonight.
Got a lot underneath ready to crack open.
And the crazy part is that when we were working on this, we've got some new stuff going on. We've got several angles of the camera going on. Hopefully that's going to tie together.
Yeah.
We've got
this is quite a setup. This is a family affair.
Yeah.
It's not just him. It's his whole family in here trying to troubleshoot, and mics go down. And
I've got a sound engineer. Thank you very much, Jaden, for making that happen. He's making sure the camera angles are flipping back and forth, and eventually we're going to be able to go live. That's the plan. The way that it took us to set up, we might.
Yeah, that was. That might be some good behind the scenes footage. You could cut at the end of it all,
like the blooper reel for like
exactly.
2 hours. So now you're the executive chef at the Cellar.
Correct.
Now give us a quick bio of where the Cellar is and a little history about it.
The Cellar is in downtown Fullerton, so I call it the Four Corners. It's Commonwealth and Harbor. We're a little further up off of in between Chapman and can't remember the street off the top of my head right now, but we're right there in the Villa del Sol parking structure.
Mm-hmm.
The restaurant's been there for next year will be 50 years.
Man,
it was designed by the same Imagineer from Pirates of the Caribbean.
It does have. I had the privilege of going there, and we'll dive into that in a minute. But it does have like a very off the chart type.
Yeah, like a cave-like, very rustic, very speakeasy style. But we're technically not a speakeasy because it was just built in a cellar of the old hotel, which is what the Villa del Sol was in the 1920s.
Yeah, but it's like it's not even retro. It's retro.
Yeah.
It's like you didn't change anything.
No.
And it's like super.
We're not trying to.
So
yeah.
Spot on for right now.
Yeah, it just kind of fell the trend that's the speakeasy craft cocktail world and the fine dining kind of just, hey, we've been here for 50 years doing the same thing. Jump on our train because that's what the Cellar's been doing.
There's some, like when we went, for those of you who don't know, a couple of years, oh man, it's
probably like a year ago.
A year and a half
or
a year.
Change.
No, it's been a year and a half actually is when we met. Sort of, because it was your night off. So a year and a half ago before we went on the road trip, which we're going to hopefully do as we're climbing back into our consistency. I know that was my last shift drink, and it's not been very consistent. time has changed a little bit for us, but we did a contest for for what happens in the cooler stays in the cooler.
Oh yeah.
And your team came up with some of the greatest shots, and then we did like the most likes. And you guys ended up coming in second. But the crazy part about it is I had no idea where you guys were. I didn't know. I didn't really know where the restaurant was. All we did was take the images that were sent to us or tagged us.
Yeah.
We reshared them, and anybody that got a lot of likes kind of was in the lead. But your crew at the time, I mean, you guys just freaking nailed it, right? And it was a great shot. And we're doing the contest, and we're trying to get ready to go on this massive cross-country road trip with T-shirts and stickers and posters and all this stuff. And we're watching it. But we ended the contest like the day before we left or something like that. And you guys came in second, and another restaurant came in first, and I forget their name. But you guys were like, you're local to me. And I was like, how in the world did that happen? And then the guy that won I called him or texted him. I said, hey, send me your address so I can send you your stuff.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, Pompano Beach. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? I was like, that's where my wife and I'm like, that's where she's from.
No way.
That's where we lived.
I didn't know that
story.
So
when he sent me the address, and like it was Fort Lauderdale, and it was like literally 1.5 miles, 2 miles from the house that we had.
Oh, wow.
And that's where Colin and that's where my oldest two or three is from Fort Lauderdale. And then Laney was born in Louisville, but you won, and we're here, and then it's back to
literally on opposite ends.
That's happened quite a few times with the old E.C.O. kind of steering us, I guess, in the right direction. But here we are. So like I found out you're local. I went to your restaurant, and quaint is not the word. Like it is so freaking cool. It's like you're in the basement and you have these booths, and like you look over and you look at this old like wine like lockers. I mean, didn't Elizabeth Taylor get like
proposed to by the second time from Richard Burton?
Richard Burton.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the second time they got married, or he tried to marry her. I don't know her backstory, but I know I have to know this because I work there. The second time, that's where she got proposed to by Richard Burton.
So as well, I mean, I think they got married twice or three times.
Something like that. My wife's in the corner. She's throwing
it out two times.
Yeah.
Well, it is, and I might as well bring it up. The lobster bisque.
Yeah, that recipe hasn't changed in longer than my time, because I've only been there for coming up on 3 years actually this week. So I've been the chef there 2 years.
Okay.
I got hired as a line cook, but yeah, that recipe hasn't changed from what I know. I look at the book and it's still there, and it's some like 20-year-old recipe that we still go through.
By far, absolutely, one of the it's the best lobster bisque I think I've ever had. I mean, it's like perfect. When we got it, because I'm a big fan of lobster bisque. I ran a lobster bisque in my first restaurant that I when I was the chef, and I put it on the menu because they used to make it at this hotel, and I liked it, and I was like, oh, we should do that. And I did like this cappuccino, like a spuma on top, right?
Okay.
And put this lobster spuma on top of it, and called it a lobster cappuccino or something. But it was lobster bisque with foam. And so I've always been a fan. And Gina and I get there, and we're like, oh, the server was top notch, crushed it, like did an awesome job.
Remember the server?
No, but he didn't know who I was, which was really funny because you had set something. You had foie on the menu, but you set it aside for me, and he's like, "Oh, we're all out of the special."
Yeah,
or like I ordered that, and he's like, "Oh, we're out," and he was actually saving it for me.
Yeah.
So he's like, "You got to try the lobster bisque."
Yeah.
It was a young man, and we ordered it, and I had it, and I just set the spoon down. I was like, "What?" It was Gina's like, I said, you have to try this, and she's like, oh my god, you need to get your own bowl. So we still have to get back there.
Yeah, you just got to let me know. And
well, I think it's going to be a lot sooner than you think. So I think we have to get there. Now you've only been there
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
How long at the helm?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I was a sous chef at a country club in Placentia. Hated it. Not my cup of tea. I got in trouble for adding cinnamon and sugar to French toast. Don't know why. It was just eggs and bread. That was their French toast. So I got an interview for a sous chef position. Didn't get the sous chef, but I told the chef at the time, I'm like, I need to work here. I don't care what you pay me. I need to have this job. She's like, all right, I was making $16 an hour, I think, as a sous, and they're like, we could pay you $12.50.
And you're like, whoa.
I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Yeah, I'll take it. And I quit my job on the day I had the interview. And didn't get the sous shift, but I told the chef at the time, I'm like, I need to work here. I don't care what you pay me. I need to have this job. She's like, all right, I was making $16 an hour, I think, as a sous, and they're like, we could pay you $12.50.
And you're like, whoa.
I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Yeah, I'll take it. And I quit my job on the day I had the interview.
You just knew.
Yeah, I was like, whether I get it or not, I need to go for it. And if I can't get out of my job to go to this interview, so I quit. Peace.
Oh, peace.
Yeah.
When did you know? When did you know that you wanted to be the chef? Like, not at the Cellar, but just to be cooking in general.
Well, I my whole high school life, I was in a cop programs, Explorer program for the sheriff's department. I was in a law enforcement.
Oh, we're back. Are we back?
There we go.
What about now?
We're good.
We're good, I think. Hold on. Yeah,
Did-
we're good.
Did
Okay.
you step on the cord with your foot?
No.
You sure? You want to grab another? Oh, you're just making sure the cord was plugged in? We're back recording? Yeah. It's crazy times here and then leave it on the line.
Well, that's when you know it's a family thing.
Right.
All right, you can start over.
Oh, yeah. We never stopped. We can let this run the whole time. We don't. I mean, I remember what he said. And, I mean, the sounds, everything is. We're back in
Yeah,
it.
it was a quick second.
Yeah.
It's all
And we're
gravy.
back.
Yeah.
That was a commercial break. If
Yeah,
you
that's
didn't
it.
know, you guys can check out ExtremeCulinaryOutfitters.com. We have a lot of stuff. Brand new website up, and all hats are 20% off.
Hey, we got to go on the website.
Right? We just finished. We just finished that thing, man. And I don't sidetrack, but I remember I texted you. I said, "Hey, give me a little bit," because we kept trying to.
Oh, yeah,
we
yeah.
just kept trying to schedule this, and that. Yeah, that thing. You said it's E.C.O. is 100% family affair, and I'm such a. I want to learn. Like, I enjoy the process of difficult things, and man, learning how to make your own website. I got some help, but at the same time, when you're the one doing it, and you're like trying to find the time. It was definitely
Well, it's two different jobs, so your time is
yeah,
a
it's
little
great.
limited with where you work and what you do. So
Yeah, it's been silly. And then I think I sent you the text 4 weeks ago, and I was like, just give me some time working on a website.
yeah,
And then,
I think it was a little bit longer than 4 weeks.
okay, I was giving myself that was bad. It was
But I'm
probably-
like, okay, don't worry about it. You know what? I got the
6
Cellar
weeks.
going, and we just bought another restaurant.
that's right.
So we're our owner set up by Hidalgo Cafe.
okay.
So there's been
a lot going on.
a lot going on for me. I officially took over probably about 4 weeks ago. So it's been a lot of menu development and tastings and restructuring and scheduling and ordering, and it's just
And
a whole,
building the order guide, getting the reps right. And all
yeah,
that
it's
stuff.
a whirlwind of trouble. Like,
Do you think, and you're saying that Explorer program, police officer, law enforcement, do you think that, are you happy with the change? Like, you were doing all that. What made the shift?
I don't know. Some rep from the Art Institute came in my senior year and said, hey, you want to go learn to cook? And, I helped out my mom around in the kitchen and whatnot. So I just kind of jumped on it and totally sporadic, spontaneous. Hey, I'm going to go to culinary school.
And that that leads me to my thing is that I was raised by a police officer who's a deputy sheriff, right? And so he had a rule that you couldn't. There was no cops was his rule. Like, he goes, I don't want you to go in law enforcement. Whatever you do, don't go in law enforcement. He goes, it's like, the hours and da 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 da. Like it's rough on the family and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so, I chose this nutty ass thing here,
and it's
and I was
just
like, what
the
fuck
same,
is
except
this?
without all the danger.
Right? Yeah. I told Dad, I was like, it's the hours, the holidays that you missed, I miss, but it's nobody technically is gonna shoot me.
Yeah.
But,
The probability is less likely.
Yeah, that's way less
Yeah.
likely. It would be, but I'm happy.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do. Do you think you could do anything else?
So I call it every cook has a block, that wall they hit. And I hit mine probably, I came back from my third, I am in the military as well. I came back from my third deployment and I was at a crossroads. I didn't know what I was going to do. I want to go back to cooking. So I started the process to go to LAPD. I passed the first test, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try cooking. I'm going to go back to work and go from there. And I don't regret it. So I'm glad I didn't continue the LAPD process.
Yeah. I think there's certain, and the more chefs I talk to and the more people that, I guess the longer that I do it, I really feel like there's our personalities, the majority of chefs that I've met, our personalities are going to fit a certain career.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably could have easily been a police officer. The more I listen to Joe Rogan's podcast when he has like Tom Segura and
Mm-hmm.
Bert Kreischer and any comedians when they did their Sober October.
Yeah.
Like, and you listen to them talk, and when they start talking about how segregated they are from the actual real life people,
Mm-hmm.
like how they could never work a day job or work in an office because they'd be fired in like fucking 5
Yeah,
minutes.
the 9 to 5s, the weekends off.
Never, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like the more I talk to us, our group, there's no way I don't think we could do a 9 to 5.
No.
There's not and survive. And
Nope.
then, I think if you would have stuck with law enforcement, you probably would have found it fits your style a little bit.
Yeah.
But maybe not as rewarding on the expression side. You would have found that reward from maybe helping people or solving stuff.
Yeah, it would have been a different outlet.
Yeah, but I still think that we have that same. So we're cut from a similar cloth.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a big difference between the stand-up comedians and the chefs or cooks in the world versus the cops in the world or the firemen, because there's something slightly off. Because when you're technically you're in the service world, right?
Yeah.
And you're kind of living your life to help and appease others.
Yeah, you're not doing anything for yourself anymore. You're looking out for the person on the line with you. You're making sure that the server's getting their stuff, and then you're making sure the guests are happy. So just like, in that cop-out world, you're looking out for your partner, you're looking out for the civilians, and you're just, doing your job, kind of like we do ours.
Do you feel like your relationships inside the kitchen have been are as strong or as well? I mean, I can't compare it to the military because you guys are, you're on the edge, you're on that thin red line that they talk about. But do you feel like your relationships inside the kitchen can be as strong or similar to those?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. One of my cooks went to jail. He knows who he is. He's probably gonna watch this. He called me from the cell like, hey, I can't come in today. I got locked up. I'm like, okay, cool. Why are you calling me first?
Yeah.
Like, I got it. I wasn't going to fire you because your day's off today. So
luckily you got arrested on your day off.
Yeah. It worked out for him, 3 days. And then he called me. He was blowing up my phone because I was in a doctor's appointment. So, and that's something my friends in the military would do the same thing. They'd call me like, yo, can you cover for me? I got locked up. Or, hey, I'm pissed drunk. I can't go to first formation. Can you try to cover for me? Or
right. No, I think there's definitely things that we do that are similar.
Yeah.
I know in the younger days, I'm getting up there now, but I know in the younger days we were we were just crazy.
Oh no, I think everyone was crazy.
Yeah,
when they first started, or even
and
halfway through still. Yeah.
It's interesting to think now where we are, because there's a whole movement for the fair kitchens, and I'm all in support of it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think is there was an amazing party crazy scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that kind of fits. It almost falls into place. You work hard, you play hard.
Yeah, definitely.
And you kind of. We carry and we wear the badge, we're cooks. We work in the restaurant business. It's definitely something that I love.
Yeah.
And I don't think I could do. I don't know. I don't think I could do anything else. If there's anything else you would be doing, what would it be besides cooking?
It'd be either I stayed in the military or I was a cop.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. I still regret to this day I didn't serve, but I don't know. I think my dad had a pretty good plan to keep me out. He sat me in a truck with a special forces guy that had done a long time in, and he told me a lot of stories, and I was done after that.
That's a way different perspective than regular Army.
Yeah, no, I think that was part of the plan.
Yeah.
Where I was like, huh?
Yeah. I told you the craziest stuff, and you're just like, they do that every day? And it's like, no. We regular Army people? No, we don't do any of that stuff. I'm a truck driver in the reserves.
Okay.
So when I do my duties, it's literally we just sit there all day, watch a couple PowerPoints, death by PowerPoint, some paperwork,
Okay.
and do nothing.
Yeah, that's not the story I got.
Yeah, no.
No.
And when you special forces, those guys are just totally
Well,
they
I
live
mean,
out there.
the crazy thing, we my oldest and I just went on a trip with a great group. I'll turn you on to them, CAG, a crisis application group. If you guys check them out, but they're really just they just kind of get ready for anything that can happen. There are a lot of military guys, and they know what happens if like there's a major hurricane or an earthquake or any type of major disaster or anything. They just kind of like, I wouldn't say preppers, but they're prepared.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and like not for Armageddon, but just for, you know, do you have enough water if there's a hurricane? Do you have enough? If we have the, you know, the big shake or whatever, how much water do you have? You know, so they're all, we spent 4 days with them in the swamps of Mississippi doing some hog hunting. And one of the guys a lot of the guys were all, you know,
Prior service.
Oh, yeah, prior service and some serious stuff. And it just different level.
Yeah,
they have a different stare. They have a different gait.
Oh, yeah. People, when they come out, they still look for that piece, and they always will go toward another like military or other prior service people, because it's just something that we just can't ever escape. Like,
Right.
no matter how many times we say we're done, something about us is never done.
You know, I think that it goes with the personality. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's an interesting, and the more, and that's why I think I love the Leave It on the Line, is because it's such a long, it's a deep introspective like conversation of like, why do you choose to do this?
Yeah.
Like what, and then, but we all have these outlets that take us away or allow us to push ourselves in a different way. And I think the relationships inside the kitchen are different.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't know if you've ever heard of a guy named Simon Sinek, but he is like next level, you know, thinker. Always talks about the why, and I'm always listening to, like, he's very inspirational.
Yeah.
And he like really studied relationships in the military, and because, you know, you are that's your brother or your sister, so you 100% take care of them. So and that's, the relationships are extremely strong and tight and bonded and secure, but they have to be, because you're doing a duty that is required for you to protect people. And I think the more that I look back on our lives and careers in the kitchens, we feel the same way about the plates.
Yep.
We feel the same way about those tickets coming in and the service that we provide and the craft that we do, and then like taking care of the grill versus the saute. And I love the fact that, you know, you're still serving now, right? Didn't you just get your...
I have till 2021, and I'm done with I'll have 14 years total at the end of it all.
Well, you know, that's awesome. I thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
We won't forget, you know, like it's all of that stuff, because I mean, my cousin's still in. He's been in since he was like 17 and a half. And
I joined when I was 19, so I'm 30 now. So
you're just a young pup. Bro.
Yeah.
Just a young pup.
Yep.
Kicking it. And now you got the Cellar. Now, wait, you went to culinary school out here.
Yeah, now it's the Cordon Bleu program. When I went, it was California School of Culinary Arts.
But you went to the one in Pasadena?
Yeah, I went to the Pasadena one.
Now, is the Pasadena school still open? Do you know?
No, I think it closed. After the lawsuit that happened like 4 years ago, I think they just shut down all their schools.
What was your school experience? Now, would you go to school again, or would you not go to school?
I don't know. Well, with my schedule now, I would like to go back to a learning environment just to kind of brush up on modern day things, because right now what we do is kind of old school. So anything we want to learn that's new coming up is we have to teach ourselves.
I've watched your Instagram, brother. I don't think it's that old school. Like, I mean, the shrimp noodle you did a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be for that Ducks and Tucks event. We're going to do a version of that.
Can't wait. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we officially signed up for it, so it's...
And I got Hector. I think Hector's going to be able to do it this year, too. He was the podcast, like the last podcast.
Oh,
we
it's
did.
a silver trumpet?
Trumpet?
Something like that? Yeah.
I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, that was that's a WD-50. That's the Wiley's, Chef Wiley's.
Oh, yeah? No.
That was his recipe, but he did it with tofu. So I was like, what if I did it with
shrimp?
and it works. We're gonna do something different for the Ducks and Tucks event, so it's kind of like
That
was our
I'm
tester.
gonna have to up my game.
Yeah,
Gonna have to up my game.
That was oh man, that menu's the hardest thing I've ever had to do because it's a 6-course. You know, people are.
I can't believe you're already starting to work on it. That's
well, yeah.
awesome.
Well, I have that menu to do, and I just finished Christmas menu, our New Year's Eve menu. I have to work on Valentine's Day menu. I'm working on the Dalgo menu.
Dude,
Yeah.
you're way ahead of the game though.
Yeah,
I got a wine cellar that's open on the 7th, and I'm losing my mind. I'm like, I gotta get that together.
It's pretty.
We got great news. Like this year, Chef Jet Tila is
Oh, no
going
way.
to be rocking it with us.
Oh, that's so cool.
He and I are going to do a collab table, and I am super stoked. I'm going to lose my
At
mind.
the event?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna let my suit take care of it. I'm gonna walk. You got
Dude,
this. I'm gonna go walk.
I don't know if you know this, but he's a Star Wars guy, and he's been a big supporter of ours since as Extreme Culinary Outfitters as E.C.O. He has been rocking the 501, which is like your first product, right?
Yeah,
It's the
my
hoodie.
wife. My wife bought me the T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Probably she's on her phone now, but she bought me the
She's
T-shirt.
watching that Netflix.
Yeah,
dog.
right.
We told her the story got boring. It'd be doo-doom.
Yeah, right. We're gonna start hearing all the episodes over here. But she bought me the T-shirt and a baseball tee that said 86 on it. A couple Christmases ago.
Oh, was that the Culinary All-Star one? Or
Yeah.
Was that, okay.
I think so. And this was I don't know how many Christmases ago. Probably like 3 or 4, something like that.
How we've been doing this since 2010. I mean, we got some guys out there that are doing some good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like that. It's not us, but I think the only other guys that use 86 is maybe True Cooks.
Yeah. Well, there's another company that just started called I think it's the 86th or 86th, and I think they're
really?
out of.
Are they out of Orange County?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, dude, if it's out of Orange County, that's 3.
Yeah.
Well, I think True Cooks is out of Vegas. I don't even know. I'm not sure, but I know We Chef is by the chef of Mix Mix.
Oh, no kidding.
I know that he's got that because some of the students that I talked to at culinary school,
Mm-hmm.
our culinary lab, are they work for him at Mix Mix, and then there's us E.C.O. And then if there's 86 is out of
Yeah,
South,
that's a new one. Yeah.
well, I mean, Chef Hat Company's up in L.A. I
Oh,
think.
yeah, that's right. Isn't that a True Cooks kind of a partnership? I don't know.
I've
That's
no-
the only reason
Dude.
I know of them was because of True Cooks.
Dude, I have no idea.
Yeah,
I mean, like, honestly, like you're here. You see what's going on. Like, I mean, I got the Honda Center, and then I've got this,
Yeah.
and I mean, much love to all the guys that are out there slinging the product and trying to, rep something and do something. It's not easy.
No, I can't imagine.
It's. I mean, without my partner, I mean, my wife Gina, we wouldn't be able to do what we do now.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, well, my cooks like the shirt. They like all the stuff that we got from them. They still rock the hats.
Okay, good.
So-
I got to get you guys some. You guys need to get some of the performance gear, the stuff.
Yeah,
The
I have
stuff,
3 of them. I have
Yeah.
2 black ones and a gray one.
a gray one.
Yeah, I'm like washing those every 3 days to wear them again.
I just recently, for those of you I know I haven't posted in a while, I think on the consistency, I might have talked about getting the exec chef and director of operations position at the Honda Center. So now
Yeah.
I'm the executive chef and the director, so I'm like sitting at the helm.
Dang.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But I have a really good co-director. Shout out to Alu, good job, girl. You're the one that really crushed it. But in the hindsight, like now I'm rocking suits on the game days. So like my boy Matt, I was talking to him. He was like, "Dude, I saw you on Facebook. Do you always wear the suit?" And so like I'm trying to be I'm still concerned and 100% involved in everything that happens in the menus like I was before, but now it's I'm looking at it from a different perspective. So I'm sitting full at the helm, executive chef, director of operations, what they call a chef and B.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if you've heard that before, but my guys Chad and Richard were like, "Oh, I figured you'd be the chef and B," but
First time I heard of it.
but I'm rocking a suit.
Now a lapel pin, and then it says,
Oh, that would be like this our little logo.
yeah.
On a lapel pin. Yeah, I think the last time we filmed the podcast, you had some ideas of what we need to do for some stuff too. I think you're
we
like
have to go back to the video or
the
something.
video is a bunch of blocks
Oh,
sitting
man.
on top of each other.
Oh,
It was
man.
ridiculous. And I bought a camera that night.
Oh, that's
because
right. I remember that. Yeah.
You were coming and we were having a problem. I was like, I can't mess this up for him. I got him coming and then like boom, I hook it up and then we shoot the whole thing. And then it was like it totally like crashed on me.
Dang.
That's okay. We get to drink more bear and talk
Exactly.
food.
Yeah, and that was the plus side when it all happened. He told me, Oh man, I got to come over your house, drink some more beer, and talk about food. My loss.
My bad. I mean, I'm not going to ruin this one. This one's hopefully going to go well. Is it looking good, Jaden? Yeah. See, that's good. I think that the Ducks and Tucks event is probably one of my favorite events I've ever done because we take the gloves off, we get down. Now that you're dropping the shrimp noodle, I'll have to send Chef Jet Tila an email name dropping.
Yeah.
I'm totally name dropping right now.
Oh man, yeah. Well, it's only 2 courses out of 6, and I'm just like, oh man, what am I gonna do for the other one? This is a big event. Like we totally got to step outside of our norm, but still keep it in the Cellar fashion.
Yeah. How do we represent the Honda Center? And yes, dude, I sell a lot of chicken tenders and hot dogs, and I sell a hell of a lot of cold beer.
Yeah.
And I sell a lot of drinks. I sell a lot of popcorn. But like, I still love. I have 2 clubs, the Sweet Restaurants. We can still get down.
Yeah.
And so like I try to find. I get really excited about it because it allows me to just show, hey, we're not just that. And sometimes, I might go a little bit overboard. And I mean, hell, last year Chad dressed up as Julia Child to do at that table.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a Honda Center table and a celebrity chef table that I executed with Kat Cora, but that chef table, the table that Chad and Richard pulled off with the team, like Chad was wearing a wig and some earrings and a pearl necklace.
Dang.
And it was like, we built a set that looked like Julia Child's house. That's a museum now. So like, but we were so tight because we're on the floor.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if a lot of people noticed, and like the only people that will really experience it is, and this is what I kind of love about it, is the 12 people that are at your table.
Yeah.
So it's 12 people for a 6-course dinner on the arena floor, and it raises over $500,000 for charity. It's an amazing dinner, and based on Scott and I's friendship and like having dinner as food, I was like, man, this would be a great opportunity for you. And we're always looking for some great restaurants. So I asked him if he would do it, and he would do it. But now it's like it's time. But when you're done with the event, and like if you do it right, like it's very special because you look around. There's 40 other restaurants.
Yeah.
And the people around, the 12 people only are like they're in your world, but it like disappears past the.
Yeah. Once you're out of the little area,
what
doesn't
you create
exist.
a very cool bubble.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same reason why we worry about those tickets.
Yeah.
What was your culinary school experience like?
Well, I was a knucklehead in culinary school. Like I just worried about because I was working a full-time job, so my days were just as long as my days now.
Right.
Start at 6 o'clock in the morning, get off of school at 12, have to drive an hour, then go to work. And I worked at a gas station while I was in school, so that was a beast. But
man.
I wish I paid I paid more attention to it and put a little bit more effort. I think I would have got a lot more out of it, but I did learn enough to get by on jobs, and some skill came out of it. It was okay. I can't complain. As a program, I think it was a little rushed.
Okay, that's very fair. I don't know anything about the Cordon Bleu Pasadena program
because it's 6 weeks, and I think I might be wrong. There's 6 different
classes,
or there's 2 classes. One's the culinary classes, and then the other ones you have your general ed, so you get your associate's degree. But the culinary class just seemed a little rushed. It was 16 students for one chef. And then you were sharing the class, so there was another 16 with another chef.
Oh, you're sharing the kitchen. So one side
it was two sides of a kitchen, and then you're sharing a stovetop with another student. And there's 16 of you in your class, one chef, and then on the other side it's 16 and one chef.
Hopefully my next guest or another is going to be Chef Ryan from Culinary Lab, and I can't wait. He taught for a long time. I can't wait to get him on. His school, Culinary Lab in Tustin, is one of my, I go and speak there when I can or help them teach some of the later programs for their mods. And he has such a strong vision and conviction at changing the culinary program, right? Like what happens to the students and where are they going and how, what happens in your culinary. Now that you're saying it, like my classes I went to Johnson Wales, North Miami, and I think all of the previous listeners, perfect, know that. We had 5-day labs.
Yeah.
5 days, and they were 8 hours. So you had 40 hours in a lab. I want to say that the majority of the time you'd listen to a lecture for an hour, then you would cook, and then you would clean the kitchen.
Yep.
Like after that, and you would make something, but in the beginning, you had to make something with. You and I would be on the same team, and we would be making the beet salad.
Okay.
I think that
Right off the bat, you.
Yeah, I don't. Dude, my first class was. I'll never forget this. And Ronald, I hope you're watching this. I just told this story, and I know everybody's probably tired of my stories, but I just I was filling out my FAFSA, getting all my student aid stuff together. I had been a student for a long time. I transferred with 120
Holy crap.
or 100 and maybe more than 120 hours. It was well north of 100.
Yeah.
It took me 8 years to figure out, to finish, to get a bachelor's degree.
Sounds like my brother if he watches this. Yep, sounds like you, Steve.
I was sitting there filling out the paperwork, and I was in this FAFSA office, or the whatever you want to call it. And this guy was standing against the wall, and he and I had been there for 50 minutes, an hour, or whatever, waiting. And then we just struck up this conversation, and he was like, man, and we were just talking, and we finished. He got called, and then he what up? All right, we'll see you later, man.
Yeah.
And he left, and I was like, all right, cool. I did my stuff, came back the next day, and he's right in front of me, and I'm like, oh, dude. So I move up, and we're like, this is my man here now, right? His name's Ronald James. He is literally one of the he's the reason why I'm talking to you now in California, because he stayed with me through he's awesome. He's like a brother from another mother. And he and I are together. It's been this long journey, right?
Yeah.
Our first class was it was doing the cafeteria. So I had been a bartender for a week, not a week, but 8 months. I had been working in restaurants, but as a bartender, totally different than
it's
as a
totally
chef. Different world, different style of
pace,
money, different
everything.
pay. Yeah. And I was a banquet bartender. So it was me for 400 wedding in this old restaurant in Fort Lauderdale. And I did that. It made great money. And I was waiting for culinary school to start. And then Ronald and I, my first class really working in a kitchen was, it was like the cafeteria for everybody that didn't have class. So you feed 500 people or whatever. So all of Johnson Oils in North Miami at the time they still do have all these other, fashion and all these other things. Well, my first day was with Chef LaCostra, Ronald James, and John Gallagher. And I don't know if Tad was in the class or not, but he's writing on the board what we're going to make. And I'm using a tilt skillet. I was like, what the freak?
How does this even work? Yeah.
This was this giant pot, and it was heating up, and he's like, you're going to make 110 gallons of marinara sauce. And I'm like, huh? Or whatever. And I'm sure it was probably 15 gallons.
Yeah.
But I remember in my feeble brain.
When they told you, it sounded like 115, but it was only 15.
It was not, it was probably, I probably could do the prep now with 2 people.
Yeah.
And knock it out in 2 hours.
That culinary school is totally different. You do the intro class was making rice pilaf, or making mashed potatoes, or
I came into that.
Yeah.
But for the first class, 5 days straight was, you guys are going to do orange roughy or whatever stupid whitefish, white wine sauce, and put it in the oven, and you had to make 20 trays of it. Jesus. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? It was exciting but terrifying.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because we had and La Costra was so, and we had to write a menu, but it was 5 days.
Yeah.
And then boom, you were in American Regional. And then that's kind of slowed down because it wasn't make 15 pans of pasta. It was okay, now you guys are going to focus. And I think we went to the warehouse, and then we went to butcher. And then, so some of it was good, but at the same time, it was 5 days.
Yeah.
What can you learn in 5 days?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I think your mic stopped recording.
Did it? No, I can hear myself. Is it not?
Never mind. It's just looking low on here.
Oh, I might be a little further out.
I could hear you better when I turned my head away.
Uh-huh.
I feel like most of this is just you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just be sure to speak into the microphone a little better.
Is that good? Is that
Yeah.
a good volume level?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's right at the spot. You want to turn it up a little bit?
Well, standard is -12.
Did you hear that? Standard's -12.
I will note it
Just
for
turn this
next one.
right here.
It's always changing.
It down on my end because it was kind of.
Okay. Well, I got you. Here's the gain. Right there. Are we back?
Just tell me if it ever stops sending.
Okay. I'll tell you if it ever. I mean, I
Yeah.
can still hear
We're-
myself. We're just rocking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's.
My headphones are the problem.
Yeah, maybe. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Cut that right out. I mean, I know that when Lacostra started teaching the class, it was like crazy.
Mhm.
But 5 days, what can you learn in 5 days, right? And so then when we go to American Regional, it was 5 days, and you would it was in the lab,
Yeah.
and it started at 7, ended at 2.
Yeah, that was about my schedule too. Mine was 6 to 12.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to ride my bike there because I got in a car accident. It took me 2 hours to get to culinary school. Yeah, I was a 3-hour bus ride home because I was not riding my bike home. It was 19 miles.
Are you kidding me?
No. I was a lot thinner and in shape at the time, so I was like, yeah, cool, I'll do it. Get up at 4 or leave my house at 4, be in class by 6. Yeah, I was the worst idiot ever.
How long did that last? How long could you hold that together?
I did it for like 2 weeks, and then I had to change my school schedule because it was just too much. I'm like, nope, I'm not that great of shape, but I could do this for a couple weeks, and then
What?
I had to wait for the new I guess the new quarter to start,
Okay.
so I could switch to the B schedule, which was like 11 to 6, and the buses ran more.
Wait, you had how many?
There was 3 schedules, so it was A schedule was 6 to 12, and then B schedule I think it was I'm gonna ballpark it 11 to 6, and then another one from 12 or 6 to 10 or something like that.
Oh wow.
It was like 6-hour.
There was a
increments.
night one, right?
Yeah. So I had to switch to the middle schedule when I didn't have a car. Then I got a car back, and then I went back to my morning schedule.
What was the toughest part about culinary school for you?
Working outside of school.
Outside of school?
Yeah, it's just a long,
Right now, but you weren't working in a kitchen, you were working at a gas station?
Yeah, gas station. I ended up getting like a barbecue job on the weekends. And that was the worst when I saw how everything was made. I'm like, oh, no, I'm done. Pass.
Did people hold it against you when you came in from your culinary school into the restaurants?
No, not really, because I went to Disneyland. So it was, you went to culinary school? Great. You already know what you're doing. You're going to be put in the shit. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll be on the fillet. I got this. I was a little cocky. I was a cocky kid when I got out, and then joined the military. That really leveled me.
You hadn't gone into the military?
No,
yet?
no. I graduated culinary school in 2006, and I enlisted in the Army in 2007.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That knocked that cockiness right out of you.
Oh, yeah. It really humbled you. And you could ask some of the old chefs that I had, old kitchen leads or people who work with me. They all said the same thing. You were a dick when you worked here. You were cocky. We didn't like working with you. They came back, and when I came back to Disneyland after I did 3 years, they're like, wow, the Army really changed you for the better. I'm like, thanks. I appreciate that.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Did you feel different coming out of the Army?
I had a greater appreciation for the civilian life and not having to get up at 6 a.m. every day and go run 7 miles and then change and go to work, or get up at 3 and go to work, then get done with work, cooking, because I was a cook my first 3 years.
In the Army you
Yeah,
were?
in the Army.
Oh.
Get done at 2 o'clock, then I have to go fix vehicles, which I knew nothing about because I was a cook. Excuse me. So.
Wait, you were cooking and fixing vehicles?
Yeah, because although you have your job, you still have other jobs to do. So we were assigned vehicles. When we go to the field, we have to transport our stuff, and we have to learn to drive anything.
That makes sense.
So yeah, we had to try to attempt to fix our vehicles because we're just a bunch loaded cooks. We're like, I just feel like a Neanderthal trying to hammer or something on, change the battery on a Humvee. I'm like, all right, this is gonna be fun in -40 because I was stationed in Alaska. Yeah, so.
That was your first station, was Alaska?
Yeah, I did. I got there in 2007. Got deployed from there to Iraq, 2008, 2009, and then I came back to
you
Alaska.
went from the snow back to...
Yeah, it was great. It was
desert?
a really big climate change. Yeah.
Not at all small climate change.
Nope.
Totally opposite.
Yeah, it was totally... it did get cold. It was cold in Iraq.
I've heard that it gets really cold.
Yeah, in the north, there's some places where it snows.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there, but we were closer to the Syrian border. We're like a couple hours away when I say that. But that was a reference on the map. We're closer to the Syrian border than
14 years in. How long
12.
you been? 12?
12 years in
Okay, 2000
is when I get out. So
2020 is when you
12
get
years
out.
in. So I did 3 years active duty, got out 2010, got my job back at Disneyland cooking. Thank God for my union rep who knows loopholes, and she was a Marine. She's like, oh, submit this paper. You'll get your job back, all your seniority, and any raises you would have got.
What?
Yep. So I left making like, my hourly wage was like $6.75. I came back and they bumped me up to like, I want to say like $13 an hour, some stupid number like that.
That's nice.
Yeah, because it was all union, and then I got my seniority carried me to the grill cook position or dinner cook position. So with that pay bump, I had like number 3
How long were
seniority.
you at? How long did you work for the Mouse?
Continuously, well, for on paper, 7 years. So on paper.
On paper.
On paper, I hired in
Technically.
2006, but I left for the Army for 3 years. So military leave,
Mm-hmm.
came back, got my job back. Then I left again on another deployment, 2011 to 2012 to Kuwait and Afghanistan. This time I'm a truck driver, movement control, so I drive trucks now. Cooking in the Army sucked. And then I came back to Disneyland. So I left 2013. From 2006 to 2013, I was
Okay.
employed.
And then, from 2013, from going to Disneyland, is that when you went to the country club?
No, I worked at the Pelican Hill Resort.
I know the Pelican Hill.
Yeah, I worked at the Pelican Grill for.
Okay, outside. Is that the pool? By the pool?
No,
joint?
that's by the golf course.
Okay.
Yeah. I did that for 6 months and I quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chef was there was some scheduling conflicts with my military and a big miscommunication that.
I think that happens.
Yeah, and he wasn't very supportive of it. So I just said, you know what? I rather quit than I don't know, get in trouble in the Army. So
Yeah, rather do that.
it was fun. Here's my paperwork, HR. Good luck. And they're like, oh no, don't leave. I'm like, look, I'm not going to sue you or anything. They're like, okay, cool. Just give us your letter of resignation. As soon as I said that, they're like, oh, okay, cool.
As soon as you said I'm quitting with a letter,
Yeah,
they're like, you're fine.
yeah,
That's a beautiful place.
yeah. It was nice. Yeah.
I know some people now that work there. It's an
you know,
amazing establishment.
I enjoyed it when I worked there. I wish I would have stayed there under different circumstances.
right.
But they had
But I have numerous places like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I find as you do this, there's things that are going to happen to you. You're going to get fucking fired.
yeah,
You're probably going to get walked. You're probably going to walk into your kitchen and it might be locked because, the owner ran out of money. You might have a hard time cashing your paychecks. Like, all of these things happen to me coming up.
Yeah.
You come in and you think you're going to do like a great job that day, or you're like, man, this job really sucks. And then they come to you and you're like, oh yeah, guess what? You're not working today. We cut all your hours because you're like, what? I can't pay my bills like this.
yeah,
And you think back on like what you learned, but it takes a while.
yeah.
Do you know what I
No.
mean? Like the bridges were not really my concern. I just was trying to like stay afloat.
Yeah.
I ran really fast for a long time until my legs broke.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I went from like I'd work one day at a job, didn't like it, didn't like how it was done. Sorry, not my cup of tea. You didn't even have to pay me. I'm not in your books. Don't even pay me. It's cool. You just got a free labor for the day,
Yeah,
and just move on to the next spot.
I worked at some place in like, oh man, I don't remember. It was in it was in some like mall. It was this Mardi Gras like New Orleans concept, and I always thought that like since half my family is from New Orleans, and like we grew up in the Panhandle and Mobile and stuff, so I I know how to make this is my food, right?
Yeah,
And I show up and I cook there for that day, and I'm like, I didn't there wasn't really a training program. It was like, oh, you're gonna work pantry. This is how you make these 5 things. Make them. And then, oh, and it was really small. So it was like you were working salad, saute, and fryer, and you had like 9. It probably could have been 4 things, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
yeah,
And the guy's like, look, I really appreciate you today. I know that you probably would be a great hire, but it's going to take you like 5 months to figure out what the fuck you're doing. Like, you don't know.
Yeah.
You were so, and I was super green, and I did a great job interviewing, but like I was cocky, like you know what I mean? I like had an attitude, and I was going to be the best chef in the world.
yeah. I was like, I could do this. I could do that.
Yeah,
Totally.
wow. And I'd show up, and then 6 tickets later, I'm in the weeds for like a week, and I don't even know how to make
Each check only had one item.
Yeah, it's like 8 my ass up. And
Yeah.
I'm like, So that guy was like, yeah, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming out today. But yeah, I'm gonna keep looking.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, I go home defeated.
It's like, don't call us, we'll call you.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
And there was a lot of that happened a couple of times. I totally didn't even think about that place where it's like, man, I did not know what the hell I was doing there.
Yeah.
It was. I look back on my Intercontinental days, and I probably should have stayed. I was at the Intercontinental in downtown Miami. I probably should have stayed there a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I was finally starting to get my idea of what this thing was giant.
Mhm.
I parking was a problem.
Yeah.
And I mean, out here, I'm sure some of the places you worked at, like Disney, I don't know, they bust you guys in or whatever.
At where we work now, because we share a parking lot with a apartment complex. People are familiar with downtown Fullerton. There's a lot of restaurants and businesses.
It is popping.
It's crazy. So we can't park in our structure parking lot because that's reserved for guests of the entire
Fullerton,
building.
all of downtown.
Anyone. Yeah, and there's so much stuff there. So like, try not to park here. You park in these designated areas, but you're like, am I going to get towed?
Right.
We already had people get towed. We have people broke their cars into.
Oh man.
So you're like, got to get in the structure. So you're doing laps. Like if I had cooks, I'm calling my cooks. Like, where are you? I'm trying to find parking. I've been here for 20 minutes. I'm like, dude.
Come
all right,
on,
cool,
come on.
man.
Yeah,
I get it. What time did you start? I got here at 12:45, and I'm still driving, and it's 1:10. I'm like,
wow,
damn, dude, just park on the street, and you're parking like half a mile
get some prep
down.
done, and
yeah. So I'll start opening, and they're like, okay, I'm here. Okay, great, you're up. I got shit to do.
yeah, let me go do what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, but see, my cooks are pretty good, and we've trained them well. My sous chef Olivia trained them well. They're all really proficient in the opening process of our restaurant. Because there's only 5 of us that work there.
Yeah, but when you were gone, I have to say, when you were gone, the posts that your cooks were doing while you were gone were hilarious.
Oh, yeah,
like the yoga pose, like them sitting and doing like the Zen moment, them missing you, not knowing, and they were crying.
Yeah.
And they would tag you. Like it was just.
Yeah, so
I loved it. I loved it.
I left for my reserve duty to Fort Irwin for 29 days, and if anyone out there is familiar with Fort Irwin, it is the butthole of the Army. Everyone hates it. Everyone hates Fort Irwin. It was hot.
Where is it?
Barstow.
Barstow. Okay, yeah.
Everyone hates it. It's just miserable. You're put in this open area. You just go find your way. They go, here, we're going to go play the game of being in a war. You're going to drive to these grid coordinates, and hopefully you find it with no lights on, with night vision goggles. Good luck. And you're going to set up camp in 5 hours. Go. Like, what? All right. And then there's no showers. Luckily, they put porta-johns for us out there. But you're just baby wiping for a good couple weeks.
Ooh, baby wiping, meaning you just shower with baby wipes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great.
You slip right back into the jargon, but just baby wiping.
Yeah, just baby wiping everything. And it's, you're eating MREs every day.
All right. So one day soon, we're gonna have you. We're gonna do
MRE tasting.
The MRE tasting, and I've got 2 misguided children that are gonna come on.
Oh yeah, those former Marines, huh?
Both of them are former Marines. Yeah. One of it's Chad, he was on the second or third podcast. Chef Chad, he's gonna come on. His son is actually enlisted now. He's doing good stuff. And then Danny went. Danny was in the Marines, then went National Guard.
Oh, he went Nasty Girl?
Nasty Go.
Yeah, we call them Nasty Girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, all them guardsmen.
He's got plenty to say about the Nasty Girls.
Yeah, yeah.
His stories will change, but when I said we're going to have some MREs, they were like, oh my God. They're like, there's some that are absolutely horrible.
Oh, and I found, if they're watching this, I found the veggie omelet.
Okay.
I went and bought the veggie omelet for this podcast because they don't make it anymore in the boxes. They changed all the recipes up.
Did they really finally make it edible?
So they rotate them, like they do all this R&D for them.
Okay, so I can't wait for this, and we're going to do a whole new intro for it. But like Chad is, he was in like Gulf Shield or
Desert Storm kind of
Desert Storm. And then Danny was like, 7 or 8 years behind that. And then you're probably 4 or 5 years behind Danny. So like you guys, and there's always like one MRE that like hangs on between the fold.
I think it's the pork sausage breakfast one.
Yeah, that's what everybody talks about.
That's the one that's still on there. It hasn't changed. They had a ratatouille one too. I don't know how old that one is, but that was in there.
I can't. That's gonna be a fun one. We'll have to get a couple of more mics.
But when we do it, we have to do it the right way, because when you go pick up your MRE for lunch, they're all just piled up, face down, and you just grab it and go. You don't get to choose sometimes, but when it's like a dining hall kind of environment.
Oh my god!
In the field, you just grab it and go, because you're not.
So we're just gonna line them up on a table. We're just gonna grab them and
you
go.
Just grab them, and you're just like.
We'll do some. We'll have to break out a GoPro on that one.
Yeah, because the way I eat my MRE's cold. I don't heat them up because I'm too lazy to wait for it to heat up. I don't care. I always try to find the same one. It's either the chicken patty or it tastes like cat food. It looks like cat food. It's just like, okay, whatever. Their jalapeno artificial cheese spread makes everything better. And then there's a beef patty, and it looks like dog food, smells like dog food, but it tastes like
a beef patty.
It tastes like a frozen beef patty after you thawed it out, and it's just ready to eat. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But that cheese spread, everyone knows about the cheese spread. There's a bacon cheese spread, a jalapeno cheese spread, and a regular one. And everyone's doing black market trading for that.
Well,
we call it black market because you're just like, hey, what do you got to trade? Oh, do you have any crackers? Because I got jam. Okay, cool. I got this. You want my cheese?
I heard a lot about like trading movies because it was like back when you couldn't stream anything.
Oh,
like,
yeah, when you're deployed?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
deployed.
What DVDs do you have? What movies do you have?
Yeah, everything's on hard drives. You're just swapping hard drives. You're swapping, hey, what movies do you have? And you're just trying to find the movies. Sometimes the movies you shouldn't see come up. You're like, oh, dude. You need to put that in a separate file. Don't open. Don't ever bring that out again, man. That's just disturbing. Like, you watch this kind of thing? Like, I don't mean to judge you, but some people should not be into that stuff.
You're really scaring me right
now.
now.
Like, there's some weird things.
You put that back, and you're like, the internet is a dark place, brother. You should stay off
hard
of it.
drives. Hard drives are dark places.
I've never heard about the hard drives.
Yeah, because everyone has an external hard drive because computers just can't store. So they have terabytes, 500 gigs, and I have a couple just filled with movies and alphabetically, and then you have the files that no one's supposed to see.
Yeah.
And then somehow they end up in the Disney file, and you just click on it. You're like,
this is not Aladdin.
Yeah, this is a total different version than I remember. And you like, well, you know what? It's just funny to have. You put it on your hard drive, and then someone else will see it, and they're like, hey, what's this movie?
And then they'll
take it, but don't open it on mine. Just copy it and put it on your hard drive, my man. And then it'll just float. It'll just keep floating.
You like sabotage each other with your movies.
Oh, yeah, totally happens.
When you got to the Cellar, did you know it was the place that you wanted to be?
Not at the minute. I knew I had to work there because I needed to get back into a higher upscale dining environment. Because I was cooking, institutionalized cooking for a while. Like I worked at a business catering. So Aramark, so it's like a Google. We like contracted to work for a company called Broadcom.
Oh, I know Broadcom really well.
So I catered to their cafeteria.
You know that Henry Samueli, the guy that owns the Ducks, that owns the contract that I work for and like I report to.
No way.
Is Broadcom.
Damn. Even smaller world. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I worked for that company. We contracted for Aramark.
Okay.
Was contracted to
do all their B&I.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I hated it. I left as a grill cook. So I deployed 2014. I got a job there. They had to fill my spot. So when I came back after a year, or like 11 months, whatever it was, they had someone replace me. So they're like, well, we can't fire her. You're going to get your position back. Everything's fine, but we just can't put you back in your spot. So I became a utility cook.
What is that? What's a utility cook?
You cook and you clean. You clean up after everybody. So I was, scrubbing the chefs where they would just leave their stuff out. Hey, soup's done, pour it in the thing, clean up the station. Okay.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, that was the job title, was a utility cook, because you would still cook and help out cooking, but you cleaned as well. So you're sweeping and mopping the walk-ins. You're kind of...
Okay, I get it. I mean, like, I think that for me, I think the cook should be doing a lot of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, like, it teaches a little bit more. It, doesn't make you burn the stuff in the fucking pot.
Yeah, because I wasn't coming in at the same time they were.
Right. Okay,
So
you come in an hour later?
Yeah, I would come in probably around 8 o'clock.
Yeah, and they got there
9
at
o'clock.
5:30.
So they already, they got their
8 or 9, you're already done with breakfast.
Yeah, so they're already done with breakfast, and then I show up. So now I'm trying to help them get ready for lunch, and they were supposed to be off by, I think, 2. So then
They didn't do dinner, right?
yeah, no, there was no dinner. So then they would start cleaning their stuff up, but everything left over, any leftover vegetables that weren't going to be used, that go organize walk-ins. I just help out wherever needed helping out. So it was a utility cook position. I mean, it was cool, but it's not what I wanted to do. So I ended up leaving
When
there.
you were at school, did you know what you wanted to do, or did you have an idea, or did you just like, I'm going to be a cook? I don't know.
I just want to cook. Yeah, that was it. It was not. I think I probably at the time. I mean, it's just like what 12 years ago, or whatever. How many? 13 years ago when I went to school. So I think I was more in the. I just want to cook and own a restaurant.
Right.
You have your ideas that in your head sound good, but when you actually look down, like 10 years later, you look at those ideas, you're like, oh fuck, that was stupid.
Right.
But yeah, I wanted to own my own restaurant. Didn't know anything about it. Didn't really care for the numbers. I was like, I'm going to do it. And then
That's the biggest. Oh
Yeah.
God, the numbers that drives like, I when I teach the mods, like it's tough. It's tough because I teach all the stupid stuff. I like our teach or talk about. I talk about food cost,
Yeah.
beverage cost. Like how much does that chair cost you an hour? How much you should turn? What's your, what's the nut that you have to crack every day?
yeah,
How much money do you want to make a day or
Yeah.
a week or a month? If you're okay living on like $2,000 a month and eating ramen or eating out of the restaurant and not really having cable or a cell phone,
Yeah.
then maybe the restaurant life's for you. But if you're wanting to drive a Benz, you better really dial in how much your rent is before you rent it.
yeah. You need to find somewhere where you could live off a cook's
Yeah.
salary.
Yeah, and like, or the cook salary, the whole thing with fair wages and cooks
Yeah, it's
and
going
kitchen.
up. Yeah,
I think it should. I think it really should be. But at the same time, I think that you got to earn it too, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a give and a take. Like, yeah, I think there's a lot of people that have been milking the system, and man, just recently, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but my wife and her friends were out at a restaurant. I won't name it, but at the bottom of it, they said that we're adding let's say it was like 10%. We're going to add 10% to the bill to pay our staff more to get ready for the California wage, minimum wage is going to go up. But they put it in the menu on the tab and on the
Yeah.
check. And they're like, hey, we charged you more because of this, because we want to pay our people better. And in my mind, I'm like, just increase your food costs. Sell the steak for, instead of $22, sell it for $28.
yeah. That's the way you should do it. Not
like, why are you calling it out? Are you trying
Yeah.
to be like are you trying to like say, hey, you're doing the right thing? You do the right thing by running your business and say, hey, if you want to buy my steak, it's $28.
Yeah.
But is it because like you feel like your people don't understand that? Like, do you want to like it? Did not sit well with me.
yeah. It just doesn't. It doesn't look right on the menu for one thing. You shouldn't put that. In my opinion,
Well,
should not be put there because it's just kind of. I think it's kind of assholey of you
100%
to
assholey.
do that.
I love that term, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've got. I'm gonna take that. The assholey term.
It's not trademarked or
It's not-
copyrighted, so you're
okay.
good.
But like, I was like, why didn't you just charge more?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, or say this is, I get it if you have a group of 6 and you're gonna automatically charge
Yeah,
gratuity.
the gratuity.
'cause
That's a
it-
different story. Yeah.
And then that should go. I mean, there's so many different rules and regulations, but dude, if we know that the cost of living in California is astronomical, and then when you move to Southern California, it's like even more.
Yeah.
And like, okay, great, this is where we live. This is what things cost. But I think that people struggle paying. Like David Chang always talks about Momofuku and his ramen in New York.
Yeah.
He's like, if I was going to sell the ramen in New York to run the business the way that I should run the business, the ramen wouldn't be $18. It would be $32.
Yeah.
And he was like, but nobody's going to buy ramen for whatever the price was. They're just going to buy it at that. They'll only pay X for the thing. Well, I mean, it kind of finds its own way, right?
Yeah.
Like I know that there's so much that you have to do that, and in each establishment, it has its good and bad, like, right? You're the Cellar. You've been there 50 years.
Yeah.
That building takes a lot, like it. You have a closet to cook in to do
Yeah.
high-end dining. Like really, they didn't have kitchens that were like 50 years ago. You had like a stove and like 4 burners and
Yeah.
like a salamander, and they're like, hey,
Yeah. We recently just updated it after I don't know how many years, and we just got our owner I had a 2-inch mistake where I measured something a little too short. It ended up working out because we got a brand new kitchen.
whew. Yeah, but it was a 2-inch mistake.
It worked
right?
out in my favor. So
you're-
thank gosh, because I got 4 new ovens, a brand new grill, total like couple new low boys. It was a big project. So 2 inches turned into X amount of the dollars.
Yeah, it does that sometimes.
But it increased our proficiency. It increased the food quality. Everything just kind of got 10 times better because of it.
If you understand your numbers in your establishment and you say that you can invest in it, and I think that's the biggest downfall for all of us is that like I did not set out in this business to be a numbers guy.
Yeah, no.
You know, I did not set out in this business to become like the guy that wears the chef coat, like the suit,
Yeah.
not the chef coat. And I didn't realize that you have to understand the numbers as more than you have to understand the recipes.
Yep.
Because like as you grow, as you know, right?
Yeah.
Like, you had to be a better cook, and the Army made you like not be such an asshole.
Yeah.
Assholey.
Assholey, yeah.
And then you came back from there, and you're like, okay, yeah, this is what I'm doing. You had to learn the numbers somewhere.
I was thrown into the numbers. So
I think
yeah.
I don't know of anybody that was taught the numbers. And so like when I teach these classes and the students are like, oh, I need to leave about 25 or 30 minutes early. And I'm like, okay, that's on you. But I mean, I get it because that's what I used to do. I said, but like, is anybody at your restaurant going to sit down with you?
Yeah.
And go through the numbers for half hour?
Yeah.
A week? An hour? Like
and
5 hours?
They're paying for school, right?
Yeah. And like, so like, but think about it.
Yeah.
Did you really even give a shit about the numbers?
No, heck no. I found like some of my old cookbooks. There's like drawings on the side and like little doodles because they're trying to just stay awake.
Yeah, I did some accounting classes, but I don't remember him bringing home what food cost was until like the last week. We did like 6 weeks of other accounting before we even discussed food costs.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really stupid, so I struggled in school like nobody until I got to culinary school. But when I went into accounting, that was just as bad.
Yeah, no, my math is horrible, and I became the chef of the Cellar. Oh, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, here's how to do the numbers. Good luck. And they're like, food cost your new menu. You need to food cost the old menu. And when we want you to learn numbers before you change anything. So learn what your food costs are. Learn how much you're bringing in. And they just taught me everything. So I literally just learned numbers for 6 months with our owner. Spreadsheets and graphs and keeping under 21%.
Well, how many, like, just think if your owner didn't want to teach you that.
Oh, no, we would probably be.
Well, like,
yeah.
Or if he wanted to look for somebody that knew the numbers.
Yeah. He made a leap on me. Like, he tells me every day, he's like, you know what? I took a chance. I liked how you worked when I saw you as a cook. I liked how you ran yourself. And I want to offer you the job. You know, you're on probation, obviously, but I don't want you to worry about creating menus.
Don't do that yet. Let's do this first.
Focus on the behind the scenes.
Dude, that guy is pivotal.
Yeah.
In your development.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. His name's Ryan Dudley, by the way, for you guys.
Dudley?
Ryan Dudley.
Ryan with an R.
Yeah. So he graduated Cal Poly. He bought the Cellar when I think he was 28.
Cal Poly Pomona?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was, born and raised in Orange County.
By the way, that's where, just a heads up, that's where Danny, one of the Marines that's going to be in the MREs with us, is from Cal Poly.
I'm so looking forward to that.
That was going to be fun.
Yeah.
So, like, he bought that, but I got the same experience as you did, but it took a mentor. It took somebody to be able to take a chance.
Yeah.
We always talked numbers. Like, did you ever sit in those meetings where, like, people looked at numbers and like, oh, food cost is like 32%. It should have been a 29%.
Oh no, we had meetings one-on-one.
Well, like in the beginning when I first started, I would sit in on these meetings, right?
Okay,
and I'd be like, "Oh, we should have run this," but I had no understanding of the level of detail of what it took.
No.
To run the budget. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't write. Now it's like I'm a much better accountant than I am a line cook.
Isn't that how it works out?
Yeah, I mean, but like that's what no one told me that. No one said, "Hey, by the way, the thing that you love to absolutely feel perfect about doing the further you climb a ladder, the bigger your operation is,
Yep.
the further away that you're going to be from the thing you love.
Yeah, you do some menu development. You're doing numbers now. You're looking at everything big picture, but the actual cooking, it's all making sure you train your staff right to execute it.
Yeah, it's all about your team,
Yeah.
right?
And my team is great. I could take a night off, and they'll totally run it. They'll make me take nights off. They're like, don't answer a text. Don't worry about the restaurant. Enjoy your night.
What do you do on your nights off?
I don't even know. I play like Call of Duty. We go out for maybe a dinner. We're into the whole vintage rockabilly stuff, me and the wife. So
Are
we'll
you
go.
a swing like not swingers, but
No.
swing dancers?
No, we've taken
I
a
saw
couple.
you guys go to a swing concert.
Yeah, so we go to. There's a couple festivals. It's called Viva Las Vegas Rockabilly Weekender. We go to. We just did a similar thing on a cruise.
Yeah, how was that?
That was good. It was my first cruise, or I think our first cruise. It was cool. It was different. Experience.
I haven't been on a cruise before.
It was cool. I mean, they have gambling because it's international waters. I ended up winning like $800 on the slot machines off of 120.
There you go.
So yeah, it's definitely fun. Yeah, you get drunk. You get drunk pretty fast. Yeah.
Well,
we bought the drink package. The bill came in, and the drink package between both of us like $400. And the bill ended up being $1,000, but all we had to do was pay the $400.
that's how you get that value.
Yeah, because it's 15 drinks a day.
You can get 15 drinks a day?
Yeah.
So besides doing the rockabilly and the cruise and like the $15, so it was actually $400. You had 15 drinks a day.
15 drinks a day in a 24-hour period, and you could go from top shelf, whatever their top shelf was, to whatever. All the non-alcoholic beverages don't count in the 15 drinks.
Okay, so it was only 15 drinks a day.
15 alcoholic drinks a day.
What about beer and wine?
Still.
That's alcoholic.
Yeah. So if non-alcoholic, it's unlimited. You could just drink all the monsters, all the sodas, all the juices you want. But 15 alcoholic beverages.
What do you do with the other 20 hours?
I'm
I'm sorry.
There was a lot of Patron. There was a lot of tequila that I was drinking. It was all tequila and Rockstar. That was my drink of choice.
Whoa.
Because,
I guess I couldn't drink 15 tequilas and Rockstars. I'd be obliterated.
Yeah, it was pretty, it was fun.
You guys had a good time?
Yeah.
I'll have to check out one of these rockabilly shows.
It was a good vacation, a well-needed vacation.
When you're off at the house, do you feel off? Are you able to shut it off?
My wife's nodding her head no. No, I'm always on my phone. Hey, is the order good? What do you need? Everything fine?
Yeah.
Hey, you have this inspection. Hey, schedule this. Make sure this is coming in.
Right.
Hey, we need to come in tomorrow early and do this. It's constant. I have to learn how to shut it off.
I have to check something because I just followed this, and I'll give them a shout out. And I think I'm going to pull it up. Hipsy Gypsy, you are always posting.
Yeah.
That's your girl.
That's the sous chef, yeah.
Yeah, she's your sous chef now?
Yeah, so our other sous chef, Alec, he
moved, right?
Yeah, he moved to San Diego area, and he's at a restaurant there. Him and his girlfriend in an apartment.
Yeah, they look super happy.
Yeah, so.
He was super talented. New chefs on the block, okay?
I don't know what.
This is, it's a feature documentary about two chefs in D.C. that struggled to open their first restaurant. And you said something when I was asking you, no, I'm always on the phone, I'm always working. And there's an older chef there's this French guy talking, and he's like, why else would I be, this is what you do for life. This is, I love it. I've been doing this 50 years. I'm going to do this another 50 years. I went, oh, I don't think it was. Yeah. It was pretty.
It's a good attempt.
Yeah, two more of those, and it'll be perfect. Perfect. But it's another documentary. Do you watch cooking shows when you're home?
I do and I don't. It depends if I'm on the mood for it, if it's something that I like. I like more on the history of how dishes were created and the thought process that goes into them when people talk about it.
So do you watch Chef's Table on Netflix?
I do. That's probably the only one I watch, and Mind of a Chef.
Okay.
Those are probably the top two that I watch, if anything.
But Top Chef, no?
Top Chef, no. The cooking
Chopped.
shows?
Cutthroat
Cooking
Kitchen.
shows, yeah. I watch Cutthroat because it's just funny.
Yeah, I don't watch. Dude, I really I don't know what it is, but when I come home, and I guess it's because I'm like watching a YouTube video on how to build a WooCommerce site or how to audition the freaking audio, but I haven't watched a cooking show in a minute.
Yeah. But you know what? Most times I just want to come home and watch like anime or watch.
Oh, what kind of anime do you watch? Like, what's your favorite show?
Right now it's like Fairy Tale and shows that are coming out, and Tokyo Ghoul.
Okay.
Or newer ones, but Dragon Ball Z is always a favorite.
Yep.
Yu Yu Hakusho is an older one.
Okay.
Yeah,
predate that. I'm like Ninja Scroll Record Lotus War and like Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell's a good one.
Vampire Hunter D is one of like my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
We just went to this Comic-Con, not Comic-Con in San Diego, but like one that we could actually get to.
Yeah, the one
like
we have to pay
a gazillion dollars. Yeah. And I met a guy that was writing another novel, like another version of Vampire Hunter D comic book form.
Oh, no way.
And it was like a whole other world, and he was dropping some serious knowledge. I was like, I did not know there was more to. Yeah, he brought it.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you didn't know? And I was like, no, I watched Vampire Hunter D 1 and 2 like 1,000 times. I was a big anime fan when you had to like know somebody that knew somebody.
Yeah, it's not as well. Being a nerd is popular right now. Like cooking is so popular with the glamorized chef, and everyone wants to do it, but no one wants to do it.
It's not like I can't wait for the day when plumbers are like the fucking bee's knees. When like there's a reality show of a guy going to pull he's like, we got a clogged toilet on level 3. And the people are like, "Oh my god,
you got to clean a grease trap today."
Yes,
it's going to be a mission.
But it's going to be a mission. Yeah. We're going to get this roto-rooter, got this snake. We're going to run it down here. It's got a video camera, and he like comes out. Yep,
you're good to go.
Good to go. Solid.
Here's all the stuff we just took out of your pipe.
Because I mean, we just cleaned the pipes, girl. Like I think that
you want to go for a drink.
Yeah, like let's go. Yeah, these sandwiches don't taste good.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, like
it's just a hazard of the job. We're good.
We're good. I don't know what other. I mean, because really, when you boil down what we do, we're tradesmen.
Yeah.
But it's like there's more to it. But really, honestly, like it still comes down to a trade.
Yeah.
It still comes down to because the only money that you can make when you're a cook is based on the two hands that you have.
Yeah.
And we're a tradesmen that are taunted by being artists.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think we struggle with most is because you never hear a plumber go, man, I really, I don't know a lot of plumbers, but I know that like they ain't hurting from money.
Yeah,
it's not going to make a dent.
Yeah.
As Krista Lee would say. They like, oh, you want me to refurbish that toilet? Boom.
Cool. Here's your bill.
Yeah.
It'll be done.
Yeah. You want me to, but like for us, it's like, how much do you want to pay for that hamburger?
Yeah. It's how much you want to pay? Okay, great. Can't charge you what you want. How much can I charge for it? Because someone said, I want to pay $6 for a burger.
Yep.
But do you not realize everything we put into that burger?
Oh, I'm so glad we're talking about burgers. How was your James? You went and you were like in a contest for the James Beard Best Burger, right?
Yeah, so it was the blended burger project. You had to have a 30% mushroom burger. It had to be all sustained food, super. It's more of a healthier version of a burger. We placed 24 out of I don't know how many, but you had to be in the top 20. I mean, it's a popularity vote for sure. You just get a bunch of people to vote. But
what's your take on the James Beard House Awards?
I think, I don't know much about how to get nominated or what goes into it. I know I've had some books from James Beard Award-winning chefs.
He's right over there.
Yeah, and they're freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I have no complaints on who they recognize. I don't know the system.
Right.
And everyone that I know that I've read about and know
that's been there.
Yeah.
He's got it. Yeah. No, I would agree. I think that's my holy grail. I don't know if I'll ever find it.
Yeah.
Like I think the guy after me at Churchill, I think he's locked in his spot. They just did a dinner for James Beard on the track. No, yeah, they locked it down. But David's a mover and a shaker. I mean, he's done a great job for himself.
Like personally, if I ever got to that level of that kind of cooking, I would rather get a James Beard Award over a Michelin star.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Something about the smaller awards mean more than the glamour than the Michy.
Well, I don't know. Like That's a tough one for me. That is really like because let's face it. As much as like in my 5 to 10 year plan, like my 10-year plan is we're gonna have a Michelin star at the Hun Center.
Dang.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Probably not going to happen. I also have a 15-year plan where we win the lottery. Like that's both. They all like fall together. Excuse me, but I think that how hard would it, like a Michelin star, like one, okay, James Beard, okay, but that level, I love the level. Yeah, I love the level up.
I think they're just different categories, and Michelin is not just food. Michelin is everything. From the minute you walk through the door to the kind of water, the kind of glass, the way the server approaches you, the way you leave with the gift. There's a lot of
things,
rules, and to me, it feels like James Beard is more awarding the chef than the restaurant as a whole.
Yeah, I think I love and hate both of them. Yeah. I think it's like I often, and this is I know the more every leave it on the line, I think I leave something in each episode, but I think the more that I examine I talk to you guys and I'm like, and I self-reflect, but for me, I think I'm the guy that wants to date the super beautiful girl in high school. Like I'm the nerdy guy that mows lawns for a living that's never going to date the girl. Yeah. You know what I mean? And because of where I am. Mm-hmm. But when I started out, all I wanted in my deepest of deep was to be a James Beard chef or to have the Michelin star to do that. So for me, both of them are extremely I'm almost jaded to them, right? Yeah. Anthony Bourdain was he's fuck the James Beard Awards, they're such a incestual, you guys just stroke each other off and you love each other. They get nominated. I'm paraphrasing 4 beers in after not drinking for a while, but he was not a big fan of where they were going because they were becoming this huge popularity contest.
Yeah, and Marco Pierre White, the same thing with Michelin.
Yeah, but I don't know if he earned it, but that guy was I'm only going to have X restaurant because I know he got his 3. Yeah. You know what I mean? But he's he's also a psycho.
Yeah. Well, if you read about how he gave it back.
Well, there's been a couple of guys, a year ago, I think
was maybe Italian chef, I think, or Spanish chef?
Something. He gave it back. He's I don't want this shit anymore.
Yeah, because, all the suicides and all the pressure that comes with the Michelin.
What do you think about, and this is a totally different direction we're fucking going, but why are we so committed? Not just committed to our jobs, but suicide in the culinary world is not anything that is unheard of. Look, I know Anthony was recent, but for me, Cantu was the guy.
Yeah.
That's the one that fucked me up the
shocker,
most.
Yeah.
And Hamaro for me damaged me in a different way than Anthony. And I think Hamaro, and I'm probably even just when I started out with Levy, I was gonna I wanted to be that guy, right? That was in 2000, and I just turned 30 when I started with Levy, and a year and a half, 2 years later, we were in Fast Company and they did this huge article. Chef John Nicely, that's my boy right there, John Nicely. He did a great job of interviewing me and helping me get there. And they did this huge spread on us in Miami, and they were like, oh, we're gonna cover you guys. And the magazine Fast Company came out, and they're Levy was so excited. I was like, holy shit, I'm in a magazine again. So I think I'm gonna the next thing I'm writing books, right? Yeah. Because I'm running these 2 little super high-end restaurants on the floor. But Hamaro was on the fucking cover of that restaurant, and it was molecular gastronomy was just crushing it.
Yeah.
And when I started with Levy, I was translating recipes from the El Bulli cookbook in Spanish because that was the only way you could get it was in Spanish, right? So like I did juice caviar, or like,
Yeah,
spheres,
the
is what
pearls.
the pearls, whatever you want to call them now. But I did juice fucking caviar for 1,700 people. I did mango juice caviar on these crostinis of this brioche bread, and I put them in like this cup, and then like, dude, Phil and Karen and Daniel and Alex and I, like, this was the crew, and we worked on this shit forever, and like we couldn't get the shot glasses, like the shots to pour, like it sucked.
Yeah.
Like I had to poke a hole in the side of a squirt bottle, and I didn't do it. Phil did it, and we poked a hole, and I had to go to a chemist house and buy sodium alginate or whatever, sodium bicarb, whatever it was, from some like chemist in like Miami. It wasn't like you could just pick up the phone or dial like this guy that sold it.
Local store.
Nope. Yeah. No, it was like I had to research how to get it, and I had to translate it from Spanish to English, and so we served it, and that was like where I was gonna go.
Yeah.
Inside that. And so like we did all this food and all this stuff, and then I'm in a magazine, and Hamaro's on the front, and like 2 weeks before that he was on David Letterman or Jay Leno, like lasering or printing food that tasted like sushi on rice paper that he invented, right? And
you're still here making caviar.
Yeah, I was like making stupid, I was like, yeah, and then I was on the title page of that article. Like you flip it over, there's Hamaro, and then you flip it over, and then there's me. And I'm wearing my baker's cap and my Levy restaurant, and I'm sitting.
You still have it?
Yeah, it's upstairs. It's upstairs. It's up. I'll have to have Gina find it, but yes, we have it. We have a copy or two.
Put that on your gram.
Yeah, I should, right?
Yeah.
I never even thought about that. So like, here's him, and like this is my idol, and like because he was doing it, right? Yeah. And I'm doing it and taking care of the family. So I'm trying to be what I want, but I'm also paying my bills.
Yeah.
I got cable. You know what I mean? Like I went from rabbit ears to cable.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to, was that 3 years ago? No, we were here. That was 2015.
Yeah, that was a minute ago, yeah.
And he just like, it got too much. He had kids, and like he did it in his restaurant. And as I dug into it, I mean, like it obliterated everything that I thought about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that one hurt. Now Anthony hurt, but it didn't because it did and it didn't because I was so scarred from Hamaro, right?
Yeah.
But like, dude, if there's a movie called Michelin Madness, right, where it's like it's actually madness, where these guys are struggling to find the stars, and they talk about the guy that found out he was losing a star, went into his office and like
the French
guy,
yeah,
and his wife I think finished service.
Yeah, and his wife, she's still running the same day.
Yes,
and she's still running the restaurant.
Like, and that was a long-winded question of my experience, but. Why are we so like? What's your perspective on our, how damaged or how concerned we are with that? And like not just from the suicide standpoint, but like how are we so hinged on as a culture?
Yeah.
How are we so hinged on the retrospect or like the lack of self-worth?
Yeah, or self-care.
Or self-care.
Yeah. You know what? For me, it's more of. It just, I've been given the responsibility to make sure that this restaurant and the food works. I'm in charge of everyone else's lives at the moment. That's how I see it.
Right.
Like if our restaurant goes down, or if the food's not great, if I'm over budget, or under budget, it all affects something. So I feel like I need to be connected at all times to make sure everything's always running smoothly, because I don't want my cooks to be out of a job.
Right.
I don't want my servers to be out of a job.
Right.
Our bar makes good enough money to where they could probably, if we close down the restaurant, the bar probably be solid.
Uh-huh.
Will it pay the bill? Probably not. But I feel like I owe it to them to always be 100%. To be always good at my craft, to always be up to date. Even if the hours suck, even if I'm tired, I need to be if I'm having an off day, I can't show it because everyone, I feel, is depending on me. Can it run by itself? Probably.
Oh, yeah.
Do I need to be there? No. But that's just me as a person wanting that, to be part of that team all the time.
we're so deeply connected with the people that depend on us.
Yeah.
And I feel like when we get close to letting them down is when we can't, because as a chef or as the leader for each of those, thank you. For each of those, you have this responsibility, right? You have this goal that you're going to be the guy or the girl, because it doesn't, and I'm not going to go down that road of like what does matter and what doesn't matter in the kitchen, but we are deeply rooted in making sure others are okay.
Yeah.
And like almost to the point where we self-sacrifice as martyrs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And over the past few years, and it's like, I've heard like just recently, Joe Rogan had on the guys from the Canadian restaurant Joe Beef.
Yeah.
Did you watch that one?
Yeah. No, I didn't. I saw the episode on Mind of a Chef when they went up there.
Yeah.
I read their book. like in 2012.
Yeah, they just did another one, and some of the students I was talking to, the Chicago brothers, and I totally butchered their last name, but awesome dudes. I'm really enjoying this next class that I'm talking to, but they talk about how we probably drink too much as we stack up our beers, but how like you work long hours, you get off work, you go drinking, and then you like go back to work, and like the young guys probably do that, but I think there's a lot of that in a lot of organizations, but it's fostered much deeper because the guy that's working behind the bar, because the guy behind the working the bar is friends with the guy that works at your bar. So it's almost this culture that breeds upon itself. I do feel like there's a shift now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I just read this article, the end of the shift drink. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Did I just, I do shift drinks. My whole thing is like, hey, this is our beer we're going to have after the shift, where you hear my perspective on anything that I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, look, we're leaving it on the line. We're having some drinks like it's our own personal, like, it's like what you do at the end of the restaurant, at the end of the night, right?
Yeah.
Like you really think about it, like our culture is that, right? Like
let's have a shot. We got shift coming on. Let's take a quick swig. Let's go do it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's a very machismo, and it doesn't matter how you look at it, but there's that hero type push. And I think the pressure is immense. How do you deal with the pressure at your level?
A medication for me. I take some medication for issues I have, but it doesn't always help. I don't know. It's just I just deal with it. Okay. It's always there. It's never gone. But you kind of live for that pressure because that's what keeps you coming back.
It does.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't agree with that more. Like when, like the dude, it's Thanksgiving, right? Like this is our busy time, and what I've struggled with the most in this last couple of weeks was the fact that our website wasn't up on Black Friday. Like we launched on Wednesday, and it continually crashed from Wednesday until yesterday.
Dang.
Yeah. And I'm a control freak, and so is Gina. And we just had to kind of like take it in the face. Like, and we posted, we're working on this website. It's coming soon. And I know I'm comparing the website to like stress, but it was a huge amount of stress, right?
That is completely a valuable comparison.
It's like I can't, over the past couple of and now I'm in my 40s. I'm like 44. In my 30s, I totally ignored it and like just I consumed it. Yeah. And I like created more stress to like get away from stress. Yeah. But in my later 40s now, I'm like, oh, it's gonna get better. It's gonna work out. Yeah. But dude, the road that I took to get to that level, like I'm currently 100% obsessed, and I know we talked about this probably on the first podcast. I'm 100% obsessed with ultra marathons right now. Yeah. I was talking about running a lot and how the pain is like if I don't run, I'm squirrely as shit.
Yeah.
It has been ever since Laney and before that, like we went through a lot of like stress and getting this done. We always had stressors.
Mm-hmm.
But Laney, with like being sick and finding out it was cancer and going through the whole thing, the level of stress with that on top of being the chef was like unbearable.
And
right?
at the time, you were trying to move up.
Yes. Well, moving up was August, so it was like almost 7.5 months in.
Oh, okay.
But still, like every 3 months, we hold our breath.
Yeah.
Right. And I guess everybody holds their breath on something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as chefs, and not just cooks, but it's also in cooks, because I think anybody that does it holds a certain accountability for themselves to others.
Yep.
We all hold our breath on something, no matter what it is.
Yep.
I think here recently, with my obsession for what we do, I'm thinking, I'm going to run. I can't stop watching these ultra marathons where these people like just punish themselves for like a day and 2 days.
Yeah, those are.
And I mean, they're like, and I'm like,
I've done a marathon. That was brutal.
oh, I've never done a marathon.
That was tough.
I mean, it's something I need to do, something I want to do. And like, I keep saying this on every show, is like, I want to do a 50K before I'm 50. And dude, a guy I follow on Instagram, Gastropunk, he is a chef for U.S. Foods. He's out of Vegas. He just finished a 50 miler. And he has like a little t-shirt, he has like a clothing, he has something for chefs called Fit Chefs. But this guy's a beast, man. And he's really good friends with Carlos from Lost Car.
Okay, yeah.
So like he's doing it and doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm sitting here trying to figure out like what, as soon as you find a chef comfortable, like there's certain chefs that find their restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, okay, I'm going to do this for the next 35 years. Then there's the chefs who are like, I need this restaurant. I need that other restaurant. I need that other restaurant. And like, once they start getting used to the bowl of cereal of Hell on Earth, they're like, oh, I need Hell on Earth and Mars.
Yeah.
Oh, now that I've got used to Hell on Earth and Mars, can I go ahead and get that Hell on Earth and Mars and the surface of the sun? Can you bring that over here? Because I need that too. Do you feel like the Cellar, you're getting used to the cereal that you're having now? They've got you another project, which is good. So because your cereal has now got a different flavor, now you're putting sugar and cinnamon on your cereal, not your French toast.
Well, the good thing about the Cellar is that the cereal always changes. It's the same milk, but the flavors always change.
I love that. What? Okay, can you go into that for a minute?
So it's to how I see it is the Cellar hasn't changed in X amount of years, 50 years, or since I've taken over. We've been we have the same, the greatest hits of it. But we do have, we switch it up every time. We're trying to figure out, because you can't say the same to adapt to the industry.
Mm-hmm.
You need to change. The good thing about what we do is we don't have a board to go to. It's, if we want to do more exotic food, okay, figure out where we can get it. Let's figure out how to do it. Let's restructure everything. So we have that ability to do that at the Cellar. So now with the Hidalgo in it, it's a whole different.
Now where's Hidalgo
it's in the same
at?
structure.
Okay.
It's literally like you climb upstairs, you make a left, and you're there.
Oh, okay.
So it's a Mexican restaurant, not as fine dining, more upscale casual, but we're still like, how are we going to do this? This isn't even cereal anymore. We're making omelets now.
And then what is our omelets going to be like?
We're still in it's a weird situation.
What do you feel like once you figure out what your omelets are going to be? What are you looking for long term? What's your 5-year plan? Like 10-year? Like what? Is this it? Is this like you love being the guy at Cellar?
Yeah, I'm absolutely comfortable there. I'm cool. 5 years, just to be both having them successful.
Yeah. And
Hidalgo turning around and being more in the green than in the red.
I'm very envious of that, because I think I didn't find it until we moved here. Never found the spot where I was like, this is it.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't find it. It wasn't, it took me a while to find it because I was in between jobs. When I came back from my deployment in 2014, I was in a bad place in my life.
Yeah.
Got in trouble with the law a couple times. Financially, I wasn't right.
Yeah.
It was just, you know.
Do you think that when they do the bios on the chefs and they talk to them and they sit down and go, oh, what do you want to do? Do you think they skip over the dark parts?
Oh, absolutely. It's
too.
a glamorized industry.
Right.
You know, and the chefs, most of them try to do their part and be like, it's not that great. And then they'll just be like, how do you rephrase that?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, well, it's a long hours. I like the way you said that instead of it's not that great.
Yeah, I feel like the industry is starting to stretch a little bit or flex their muscles against what we've shackled them down with.
Yeah.
You know, and I was doing this gig up north and I met this amazing chef. She was so cool, and I'll keep her name out of it for now, but she was awesome. And she was talking about how she was struggling with where the kitchens are today, right? You know, because she kept her mouth shut. She got, I wouldn't say, I don't want to speak for her, but it wasn't like sexually harassed, but it was like brutalized.
Yeah.
And like, my big thing is that in all the kitchens I worked, everybody was a jackass, right?
Yeah.
They all treated you like shit. And I'm no exception to that. Like when I first got my first restaurant, no one, like the people that we hired, at the end of it, there was like one guy that put up with my bullshit. And that was like my buddy. Like he was like, you're a dickhead, you know, like, but I was so caught up on this thing, this trophy, this glory that I was chasing. And she's like, man, the biggest thing that was profound to me, she's like, I'm really concerned with the fact that I went through all that and I never said anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I had a responsibility to say something that this isn't right. But I was like, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do my job, and I'm going to make sure that my job proves that the other shit doesn't matter. And now it's a second guess. We all like turn back and second guess, like, is this where I'm supposed to be? She was working for people that are legends in the industry. And that's what she was concerned with, you know, as she's now running her own place and it's exactly where she wants to be. And like, there's so much the guy or the girl that runs the place. And like, you finally found it. Like there's so much darkness that you travel to get to the spot. You know, Chris Costanilo, I think he's the guy with the glasses that talks about depression like a great deal and mental disorder. And like, he's the first chef that's like come out and said, hey, you know, when I was on this TV show with Aaron Sanchez and I did this and I ate all these peppers and it destroyed my stomach. And all I was trying to do was get myself another restaurant. Yeah. And I was still depressed. I think a lot of times we give so much weight to becoming the person that's going to do it. And then when we get it, we're like, this is almost it's almost less fulfilling as the previous.
Yeah. I'm here. What do I do with it now?
Yeah. Do you feel like our industry lacks the mentors that it needs?
I think it's evolved to be more of a mentorship than a do as I say environment.
Do you like that?
I do and I don't.
Okay.
I do because I think the teaching environment is unique to everybody. Visual learners are better sometimes. Some people learn better visually than they do just explaining it to someone.
Right.
So I think as someone in a leadership position, they have to be able to adapt to it and not be like, no, this is how we're going to do it. This is my way. Because everyone has a way. It might not be the best way. My way, when I bring people on my team, I go, look, I'm going to show you my way. This way I've been doing it. If you come from a different place and you know a better way, but the product is still the same, let's try it. And it's being able to be that as a leader, adapt to other people.
Yeah, not be so stuck on your way, right? Yeah. And I think that's when I started to feel more free in my environments is when I was like, I started to let go.
Yeah, you have to let go of the reins a little bit, but you're still in charge. You keep everyone in line, and that respect isn't gone.
When I started doing the derbies, I felt like in the beginning, like I had to figure it out, and I was so tight-reined.
Yeah.
And then I was like, holy shit, I think I figured this out. Because when you do a Kentucky Derby, there's nothing like it.
I can't imagine doing that.
I think Preakness would be. I think the other racetracks would understand, but it's so hard.
Yeah,
it is so fucking hard.
I can't imagine many people with those things.
And it's not built to do those many people, and you got to figure out how else you can do it. And like the menu was so large, and like you distro, like there's so much to it. And then I realized that what the Derby taught me was the fact that I hadn't walked into an establishment. Well, Ryder Cup was the beginning taste of it, Thanksgiving. But when I really was like, I got to figure this out, I realized that I understood it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was the only one that understood it. Like there's others that understood parts of it. But like there's no, like I lived it. Like that event is in my soul. Like it's
part of you.
It's a part of me. Like I carry it with it.
Yeah.
And then like anybody that I came after, like I came after guys that it's a part of their soul and I took from them. And I feel like we stand on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah.
Right. And I owe so much to the people like Sam Carlson and then Gil and like Ron Kurvasek and then John, like all this lineage of people and Jonathan Williams, all these guys that had done it. Right. Then the toughest part to learn it, you had to pass it on.
Yeah.
And and then David Danielson and Matt Sprague, like there's a group of people that make it happen. And Matt, that's my homie. Like Matt's still doing it, right?
Yeah.
That thing comes with you, and it's a responsibility, and it changes you. And then like when you get it and you got it, and you're like, oh shit, okay, I need to make sure that like. I honestly don't know Hipsy Gypsy Rock and Roll's like real name, but I know her as Hipsy Gypsy Rock and Roll. Olivia.
Yeah.
Olivia is your sous chef.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing to make sure that Olivia is ready for that next level of now she's your sous chef? She's got to be a leader, a chef. So how do you let go of your reins in your restaurant?
I take myself out of the picture and I observe and I say, you're on the expo. Run your kitchen. Put your people where you need to put them. Find out their weaknesses. Find out where their greatest strengths. Let's manage it together. If you need help, I'll step in, but I want you to be in charge. If I see you slipping or I see something happening, I'll step in. But I kind of let her run the kitchen when I'm there. When we're both working. It's
smart.
This is your show.
And do you feel like she takes the reins? Or
absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, she seems like a pretty strong personality.
Whenever I do, for my military stuff, when I go, like, I'm leaving again in March to April.
Damn.
I'm going to
that was quick.
Yeah. Gotta love the military. I'm going to Louisiana for about 28 days again.
Okay.
She's going to have to do it again. She did it this past year for 28 days. She did it earlier this year. I leave for like 4 days at a time sometimes for my military, and she is 100% in charge. There's no, my phone doesn't work where we go. There's no, hey, can you put this order in for me? Can you do this? It's, I taught you what you need to know to run this restaurant.
Okay, who is the person? And this is awesome. Who's the chef or cook behind her that's holding her up?
It's the team. It's everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that if you guys get another place and you're running 3 restaurants and she's now over this, and is there somebody behind her?
Not yet. I mean, I do have a lead cook, but he's pretty young.
Yep.
He's only the lead cook. Zach, no offense, bro. He's there because he has so much seniority and he knows how to do everything in the cellar.
Is Zach the Major Ducks fan?
No. Rigo was, but he's no longer with the Cellar.
Okay.
Yeah, he moved on to another location.
Okay.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're still in contact. We're still friends. He's coming over to my house like in 2 weeks for a Christmas party or Thanksgiving party, whatever it is.
Christmas, I think now, right?
Yeah, I think we're just combining the holidays.
Oh, nice.
So it's a Friendsgiving / Christmas get trashed.
Okay.
So it happens in our household.
And you collect a lot of tiki cups too, right?
Yeah, I think I have over 25 or 30 different ones.
All right, I have to know, what's the deal with the tiki cup? Do you like buy them at different bars, or what's?
I was doing so. There's different kind of groups. There's the Trader Sam's Tiki Club group. That's all they do is get Disney tiki mugs.
Okay. Where's Trader? Is Trader Sam's
It's
in Disney?
It's still in the hotels.
Okay.
So you could just park in downtown Disney and just walk there. You can get a seat. Good luck. It's always packed now. Pretty good drinks there. Tiki style. A lot of sugar, syrups, rum. Can't go wrong, but it's a lot of sugar sometimes.
Yeah.
So I collect that. I do a lot of local artist tiki mugs.
Yeah.
And then we start wherever we go there sells a tiki mug, we'll buy it. So
Okay.
we have a.
And okay, so you collect the tiki mugs, and also
I was collecting Star Wars toys. It got a little crazy this year with the releases and the new movies, and I was just like, you know what? I can't keep up.
are you still doing the masks?
The mask?
Or
yes.
the helmets? It's really more of a
It's
helmet.
really a
isn't it?
helmet, but I have to find one that I like. So I have. It's on my Instagram. It's at Scotto1113.
Yeah, what's
They're
funny is
there.
because I struggled hard with your last name because I only knew you as Scotto
1113.
1113
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
Because that's how you posted the tag, like the tag.
Yeah, everything.
It's Mr. Rosales.
Yeah. You said a lot of people say Rosales.
Rosales.
They separate RO and sales.
Really?
Yeah.
Row
Yeah.
sales.
Rosales.
Well,
close enough.
Well, there's Versailles, Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's spelled like Versailles.
Oh.
But they say Versailles.
Or I'll say they're like, is it with the Z? I'm like, no, it's with an S.
What's that? Rosales.
I've never seen Rosales spelled with the Z. Because Gonzalez is spelled with the Z.
Yeah.
So people associate that together. So
That's that gringo spelling right there.
mm-hmm.
We can't help it.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I was just recently talking about this, and this will sound super stupid, but it's also the truth. Like when I start, okay, so I'm originally from Tallahassee, Florida,
Mhm.
right? And it probably will fit, but it'll make me sound, I am who I am, right? So I'm from Northern Florida, and I really didn't, and I was just telling the kids about this over Thanksgiving. I was talking to the class, and I didn't understand race very well until I started working in a kitchen. And I know it's a stupid statement, but when I was a kid, we were lower middle class, like middle class, right?
Yeah.
We lived in an apartment complex. We didn't have a home. We lived on, I went to like this decent, I don't know where it was, but we were just like, I wouldn't say we were poor, but we definitely weren't rich.
Yeah.
And we definitely didn't have everything.
You were okay. You had
like
food.
we had food and a roof,
running
right?
water.
And like running water.
Yeah.
But like we were still idiots, right? Like we still didn't have like, we didn't get all the cool shit.
Yeah.
And I grew up in an apartment complex. We didn't have a house until I was like 13. But I grew up and there was two what I thought were races. There's like race is, not racist. We'll talk about that in a second. There's like the white guys or the white people and the black people or African American. We just were white and black kids.
Yeah.
We didn't have any. We didn't have anything different than each other. We all lived in the same area.
Mm-hmm.
And the N-word, if anybody used the N-word, you're getting your ass beat.
Yeah.
Like anybody. Like you just didn't use it, right? Like it just wasn't a thing. And then we were kids that played football. Like we played what we called bus meet, where like you would throw the football and then whoever caught the football, you would tackle that poor bastard and like you would hit the shit out. Like and like their job was to like run it to the other side. That was bus meet, right? And I went to like we had to give a quarter to like the park and rec guy to get a ping pong ball, right? So there's these white kids and black kids, right? There was like a Mexican kid, and he's probably like the only thing that made him Mexican is because he spoke Spanish, right? And then there was a African kid that came from like Zimbabwe, like and that was it.
Yeah.
Like there was no.
I think it's the opposite. It was the opposite for me.
There was nothing like that.
All Mexican, Latino kids, and white kid, 5 black kids and like 3 Asians.
Where'd you grew up in?
I grew up in La Puente, so it's like an hour from here.
An hour. Okay,
so LA County area.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I then I spent my entire life in northern Florida, right? And one of my best friends is Vietnamese, and he speaks Vietnamese. Like I worked in his father's restaurant. It's funny because he's a cop right now, and I'm a chef. His dad was a chef. My dad was a cop, right? So we flip flopped. I'm not. There's no skin color. There's no racism, but there's racism, right? There's I don't like you because you're a fucking asshole, right?
Yeah.
So then I moved to South Florida.
Totally different,
dude. Like you talking about an awakening, right? So I go down to South Florida, and
Cubans and Puerto Ricans.
My ignorant ass, right? I took Spanish all through high school. I failed Spanish 1. Jaden, I know you're still listening because you're doing our cameras, but I failed Spanish 1 because...
You don't feel so bad yet.
No, I feel really bad because you're way smarter than me. But I didn't do well in Spanish 1. I took Spanish 1, Spanish 1, Spanish 2, Spanish 3, right? And then I took Spanish in college. And then I went down to South Florida and I worked in kitchens. My Spanish was straight like slang. I understood if you were talking shit about me, I understood. And then I get into these kitchens and there's like 4 people over here talking in Spanish. And am I ignorant? Like Spanish in my head. And then over here, Spanish. Over here, Spanish. But these guys and gals over here, Cubans.
Oh, yeah.
These guys and gals over here, Puerto Ricans. Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
These guys and gals over here, Panama Canal Zone.
All different.
All like, and they all are like, I hate all of, like, there's no love lost, right?
Yeah.
So when I started working in kitchens, it was the first time I was like, wait, what do you mean? You guys are all speaking the same language. I thought I literally was so ignorant that I thought racism stopped and started with like white and black.
Yeah, I know.
I was talking to a guy from Cuba in English, and he's like, Puerto Ricans. I'm like, what? Like, and he's like, I fucking hate him. What? Like, you guys speak the same language. Why are you guys not like, I thought you guys all hated like the white guy. And they're like, I don't like the Puerto Ricans. And like, that's when I really actually, for me, is when everybody's like, oh, you got to be culturally sensitive and you got to be diverse. I guess my learning curve for the culturally diverse was in the kitchens of South Florida, where you had the Dominican Republic working next to Haiti, that next to Puerto Rico, next to the Bahamas, next to Jamaica, next to Turks and Caicos, next to fucking, like, you name all the islands.
They were all there.
They were all in the same kitchen, and they all did things. And they all had a perspective about each other that was, like, next level.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't understand that.
You can't put a general name on the Latinos. You can't say, oh, you're all Mexican. No. Because my mom's from Guatemala, my dad's from Mexico.
Oh.
So, and I'm a first generation, born in the United States. They all came here legally, all that stuff. But, you can't go up to someone from El Salvador or Guatemala or Honduras and say, hey, you're Mexican. They're like, no. I'm from this country.
What?
I'm from Guatemala. Don't let me up with Mexicans.
Yeah, right? And like, and I know it sounds like really stupid and it's ignorant. I didn't understand that.
Yeah, and it's, you know what? They're just proud of their countries. They're proud of where they grew up. They're proud of who they are. Don't call me from Honduras. Don't say I'm from El Salvador. But they'll all unite together.
Right, but they don't. But they do.
Oh, I'm cool with you today because we have a common goal.
Yeah, like.
But tomorrow, we're back to our own separate countries.
Yeah, and like for me, that was so hard. Like I was confused.
Yeah.
Like I didn't understand it because I understood them. understood what everybody was saying when they were saying it about me, because I'd look into the kitchens and I would like, because everybody talks shit in the kitchen.
Oh yeah,
right?
you know what's funny you say this. When I worked at the country club, they thought, my first name's Scott. Think first appearance, first impression. Says in Spanish, born here in America, totally nothing.
Did they call you a coconut?
They started talking shit about me, and I'm like, and I went up to him in Spanish and said, "Hey, I know exactly what you're saying, so stop it." And they just looked at me, deer in headlights, like, "Oh shit,
He caught us."
yeah, oh we fucked up."
Yeah.
And I told him, "Shut up, stop," because I could understand every word you're saying, and it's not fucking cool, and I'm in charge of you, so
Like,
stop.
relax.
It was like my first week at that place.
Like, that's kind of the same thing that I like about the kitchen too, though, because it's a little bit rough. It's a little bit, the kitchen doesn't really give a shit.
Yeah.
Like,
And you know what? You could call someone out on their shit in the kitchen, and they'll just be like, F you, go back and forth. And the chef comes and, "Hey man, you want to get a beer?" Like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's go.
Is it still that way? I don't know, because I'm so far removed. I'm like way up there in the clouds.
My kitchen is, like, I've gotten a little angry at some of my cooks before and thrown a couple pots and pans when I shouldn't have, but I did. And it's like, "Hey man, are we cool?" It's like, "Yeah, you're good, chef. Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
Like,
I still try to manage that way. I mean, I don't hold any punches, and I'm probably not HR's friends, but like, I really feel like I want what's best for everybody that works for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And sometimes that means I'm going to call you on your stuff. Sometimes it means that you're not going to agree with what I have to say. And it also means that I'm going to be fucking wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be wrong because like I'm going to get something wrong. I'm not perfect, right? And I'm okay with that. And it's just like I'm going to march us into something that's going to beat us up a little bit. And I'm going to call you out on something that's going to beat me up a little bit, right? And like, we're not perfect, but like I try to manage in the fact that like I really respect and hold people in high regard that do everything they can to be better than they were yesterday.
And I think it's being able to take responsibility of making that wrong call.
That's it.
And be like, "Yo, I said it. I'm sorry, my bad. I fucked it up.
Yep.
Shouldn't have done that. It's no one else's fault but mine." And I think so other places I've worked, it wasn't the person in charge didn't take responsibility, because in the end of the day, it's that person in charge's name on the menu.
Right.
They're responsible for every dish that goes out, for all the actions of the cook.
That's and like it's what I tell the cooks now. And tell me if you agree with this. We train people or teach people how to take our final exam for the grade that we're given. Like that's the way I feel about it. It's like we're taking a class and it's an A or an F.
Yeah.
There's no in between. And because they'll come back again or they won't. Yeah. That's it.
Or you'll get the bad Yelp review.
Yeah. Yelp, right? It's like either you're gonna have them come back or they're gonna never come back. Yeah. Like that's it.
And they're gonna make sure you're aware that they're never gonna come back.
Yeah, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
And you're not cooking it. You're not
You're not even there in the restaurant, and they had a bad experience.
And it's
the
on
chef let this come out. Like, I'm in another country. How is it my fault?
Yeah, I wasn't even here.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that's still my catch, right?
Yeah.
But it is. And you're like, they show up. It's your first day of work, and you're basically holding my entire reputation in your hand.
Yeah. Now, the way I train my cooks is when you're in training, I'm not going to get mad at you. I'm not going to tell you something. I'm going to go to your trainer.
Yeah.
Because your trainer is showing you everything.
Right.
So if you give me something messed up, I'm not going to yell at you. I'm going to know you messed it up, but I'm going to yell at your trainer because they're a reflection of what the trainer just showed you.
Exactly.
So it's the trainer's fault. That means the trainer did something wrong. That means I need to go and reevaluate my trainer.
Yeah, I totally 100% agree with that. It's like it all comes down to how you roll people in to the fold.
No, that's just like the first couple days in training. After that, you're like, no, you're sink or swim now.
Right, or the people that blaze through training and they're like, oh, they got this. Yeah. And then like 3 days later, they're like tanking on.
They're like, how do I make a Caesar dressing from scratch again? Did you not write it down? What had happened was I left that notebook at home.
I love that you said what had happened was,
Yeah.
because that's like the statement for our generation. Like that's the statement in all of our spots.
Mhm.
What had happened was.
Yeah, my car didn't start this morning, or I forgot my knife kit at home, or I grabbed the wrong notebook. Cool, great. Guess what? You're in the shit now. Fix it.
Yeah, like the shit is like where you live or the
Yeah.
weeds. I think it's all the same. If there is something, I have a couple more questions, and I'll go with the first one. I'll say there's something that you could change about our industry overnight, like where you and I get up in the morning and it's different. What would be the first thing you change?
Oh man, well, pay for sure. For starting off cooks, because that salary, paying above minimum wage is the best thing ever. But I don't know. You know what? I wouldn't say go back to the old ways, but find a good medium. If we could find a good medium to bring up these cooks, where they don't feel so, I'm the next top chef,
Yeah.
or I'm the next chef's table chef.
Yeah.
If we could change that mentality,
I would love to.
for the new cooks,
That would be
and
great.
if they could see that all that limelight is done is not really what it is, because those guys work their ass off to work at a Lincoln, to work at French Laundry, to get to those levels. But not every restaurant is that level. You could do just as good as the food, but not be at the French Laundry.
Yes.
You got to be able to make chicken soup out of chicken shit.
Yes. Oh, I love that. You got to be able to make chicken soup out of chicken shit.
So if you could master that and get good at it, then that's all that matters. But some of these cooks come into the the restaurants like, I already know how to make was it rabbit a la royale, and they're like, where did you learn that? Oh, I saw it on YouTube. Oh, well that's great. This isn't YouTube.
Yeah, this isn't YouTube.
This is what we do here. Oh well, I learned this watching Thomas Keller's videos. That's cool. Great. We don't do Thomas Keller food here. I'm sorry, that's not the level that we would like to get to. The level that's great, but
yeah, it's like that's something that I wish that I struggled more with, is that the guys watch Thomas Keller.
Yeah.
And I bet at where you're at, you probably pull in a lot of that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We look at we try to not mimic, but we try to find our own way.
I think you would hire more cooks at your spot than I would that are like, oh, I just watched Thomas Keller's masterclass 4 times and you suck.
Yeah.
That's not the way Thomas Keller does. I'll tell you that right now, Mr.
That's
Scott.
Well, I saw this when I worked at this job. Cool. You're at this job. This is how we do it. Why did you leave that job?
Yeah, if it was so great, go back, right?
Yeah, I made $17 an hour working on this boat, doing this. I'm like, okay, cool. Why did you leave it? Why don't you go back?
Yeah.
Oh, right. You're here with us now.
Yeah, if you wanna work here for this, you can work here for this.
Yeah.
If you had the opportunity to have dinner with any chef in the world, alive or dead, at any restaurant, open or closed, who would it be?
Okay, I have 2.
Okay.
Marco
Pierre White.
Marco, because I like his philosophy. I think he has a quote that says, well, in the end, isn't food just food?
Yeah.
It's paraphrasing. I think there's a little bit more to it, but general statement is that.
One of my favorite people in the world says, I don't understand food sometimes because you eat it all and then you just poop it out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna put that in our kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah. Him and then Trotter.
Gina would love that. Trotter.
Yeah.
Where would you eat?
I would want them to choose not an upscale restaurant, but one of their go-to
favorite
foods.
holes in the wall kind of thing.
Where do you go to when you don't want the whole elegance, the whole fine dining?
Right.
Where would you go? Where would they go to eat?
Marco probably hit a pub.
Yeah.
And Trotter, who knows? What's funny is because I never worked at Trotter's, and his books changed my life quite a bit.
Yeah.
In vegetables and.
I'm fortunate enough to have a signed Charlie Trotter book. My buddy gave me in the Army. He said he lives in Wisconsin now, but he gifted that to me for Christmas or my birthday. 2009, and he gave it to me. He's like, I worked for him. I stodged for him for a little bit. I got this book signed. There you go. I want you to have it.
I think, being in Louisville, there was a lot of people that worked for Trotter.
Yeah.
They went up to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I think David worked at Trotter's. The chef that replaced me at Churchill, he worked at Trotter's for a while. Chris, and of course, Hamaro worked for Trotter. And after Trotter passed, Hamaro started the Charlie Trotter project where he was like raising money.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, I posted it on my Facebook page for
Kept
E.C.O.
it going, yeah.
and he kept it. And then like I talked to him and he responded to me, and
Oh,
like
no way.
I was extremely like floored that chef would like Hamaro would like, oh, that's awesome. Can you share it?
Yeah. That's pretty gnarly.
So like I totally get the Trotter situation. Totally get that. And I think that's a different outlook on having them take you to their favorite dive. I do like that.
Yeah, it's like, because everyone knows we cook good food, we cook this, we could do that. But where do they go out to eat? Where do the chefs go out to
What
eat?
do they do?
Besides, like, your fast foods at night. What's your favorite little mom and pop restaurant to go to? What's your favorite dive bar to have a beer at? Because sometimes those places have really decent stuff.
Oh, dude, they're so good. That's like some of my favorite food. It's just food that's made with like intent,
Yeah.
not love, but
Is
intent.
we want to just give you some homey flavors. We
Yeah,
just want to give
it's
you
like-
something that you're happy with.
You're gonna like this, and and it's gonna be good every time you have it.
Yeah.
What's the worst part about the industry?
Hours.
Okay.
Hours and missing special days. Being deployed, you miss stuff, but it's expected.
Yeah.
But now that you're home and you're still missing it, you're just like,
Damn it.
sorry, family, I gotta work.
Sorry, fam. Low real.
Yeah. Sorry, fam, but not really.
Last but not least, this is probably my most leading up question, and we're slightly 6 beers in. If you had to tell somebody something was starting out in the business, what would you tell them to do and correct that you made mistakes on? Just so that as they listened on our almost 2 hours in,
Yeah.
what would you say change?
Change is if you're not assertive, if you're not trying to learn, try to learn. Ask questions.
Okay.
Don't be a yes chef, no chef. Be a why chef. Why are we doing this? What does this do to this product?
Okay.
So the yes chef, no chef works when you're working on line. I need this, yes chef. I need this, order in. But in the beginning stages of cooking, say why chef? Why are we making this? Why are we adding this chemical to this product? What is the effects of it? Why do we add butter? Why do we add cream? Why do we add this fat? Why do we add vinegar? Whatever. Ask why, because the whys are what's going to prepare the future chefs to be better at that job. So when they take that leadership position and they ask them why, they're like, oh, well, this is why. Because this is what I was taught. So you could always pass down knowledge. Because that's what our industry is just passing down knowledge.
We're standing on the shoulders of the giants.
Exactly. Escoffier's book is still a book that everyone goes to.
Right.
How long's the guy been dead? Because someone down the line asked why. Down that line asked why. Then the line kept going and going and going. So now we're still asking why, but the recipes are changing because everyone's adapting and learning different ways.
Dude, down the line, I think we just left it on the line. I think there's no better way to end it. I love it. Thanks, Scott. Round two for an actual successful Leave It on the Line.
The video and audio is going to work.
Yeah, it's going to work. And it's going to work in air quotes.
His son just did air quotes.
But, dude, if it doesn't, I don't give a shit because I had an amazing time.
And we'll
do it again. We'll do it over and over.
Yeah.
Steph, we're going to get Uber next time so you don't have to watch so many Netflix next time.
Yeah. Well, next you start your new job, so next time might help.
We've got a lot more planned for us with some MREs, some internet stuff. Dude, this is just the beginning of our podcast career. So as always, I'm Chef JoJo, Chef Scott Rosales with an S, not a Z. Gonzalez is not his last name.
Nope.
Scotto 1113
Correct.
On Instagram. Please follow him, the executive chef of the Cellar. If you guys are looking for a shirt, hoodie, hat, or anything to wear underneath your chef coat, we are your brand. Extreme Culinary Outfitters is the sponsor, and this has been Leave It on the Line. Cheers.